From the Doit Perry Stadium on the campus of Bowling Green State University, the OBC comes a calling in Eastern Kentucky against the Falcons of Bowling Green. Greetings, good afternoon. Jim Barber, the former Marshall gunslinger, John Gregory. Well, we'll spare you the cliches today. Not calling this game a must game for either team, but for the two coaches trying to revive their programs, it is important.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, this Bowling Green team wants to get that first win of the year. Eastern Kentucky has that one win, but they'd like to step up and get it against some better competition, and they've got that today.
The Falcons are up against it, John, in terms of the schedule. Some good paydays this year. A couple of $900,000 checks for games, including one against Oregon, but no contest, losing by 34. And after leading Maryland last week, did not score in the second half and lost 45-14. And oh, by the way, Georgia Tech for the ACC is on the schedule on the 29th in the second toughest schedule in the MAC, and on top of that, opening conference play against Toledo. So for Mike Jinks, trying to get things together, a lot of pressure on him. Last year they lost an FCS game and some people thought he should have been fired over it.
Yeah, you know, he's trying to keep this team confident and believing in what he's trying to accomplish with this team. And I'll tell you, if he can play the first and second half today like he did in the first two ball games, the first half they played extremely well. So if they can do that, they're very young sophomore quarterback, running back, and wide receiver.
He will have the services of all-star wideout Scott Miller, number 21. In this game last week, John, he had a touchdown catch, but he also had an hamstring pull.
Yeah, that's tough to see this. This guy is so valuable to this football team. You can see him coming up limping here. 13 catches against Oregon, 166 yards, including a 67-yard touchdown pass. They need this guy in the lineup.
It's an injury where he collided with Rayvon Davis of Maryland. But Miller's ready to go today. In the meantime, Mark Elder on the other side, he's got history in his way. But before we get to that, let's talk about another top 25 recruiting class in FCS.
This guy does it every year. He's known for recruiting 3 straight top 25. He's got a top 11 this year and had such great success. You can see that 2 national championships, 21 conference titles, 21 playoff appearances. And when you have a guy like Roy Kidd that has a statue built after him, you know you have some tradition.
And Elder says he feels that shadow and the pressure of a great program, but he embraces it. Opening kickoff at roughly 4:05 Eastern time today in beautiful weather between Eastern Kentucky and Bowling Green. Calendar just about to flip to the fall later this week. In the meantime, hot summer afternoon on the campus of BG State. Just about set the kickoff, and we'll keep our eye on the running backs today. L.J. Scott on the left, and Andrew Clare, the super sophomore, John, on the right for Bowling Green. 2
very good guys. You're looking at a 5th-year senior in L.J. Scott and just a sophomore in Andre Clare. Both guys complete backs, can block, help protect their quarterbacks, and catch the ball out of the backfield, as well as running the football.
Eastern Kentucky wins the toss, elects to defer, meaning it will kick and then get the football to start the second half. And that's Samuel Hayward dancing around right now for the Colonels. Clint Stevens and Bryson Denley are going to draw the kicking duties with Ravion Hargrove out. And this one is bombed some 65 yards. So the first offensive series for BG will start from its own 25. And that means it's time for Jared Dagey to go to work, the sophomore out of Lubbock, Texas, who last week had a modest game, but in the second half, the defense failed to stop anybody, and they wound up losing 45-14.
Yep, and the big help today could be a running game for him, as they'd like to get that running game going, and that would set up Dagey, a guy that's just a sophomore we mentioned, but has all kinds of tools, was 22 of 38, 253 yards against the Ducks, so he can get it done, but he needs that running game to help him out.
You mentioned the rushing attack. 122 out of 130. That's toward the bottom right now in college football, but they'll start with a pass. Sometimes you begin with a pass to set up the run. You actually go the opposite way that most coaches might do.
Well, you want to get the quick pass out there, kind of spread this defense out. Eastern Kentucky's defense will load the box. They'll show a real light box at first, but they like to come after you, so they're going to try to keep them spread out with those short passes.
Oregon loaded the box in its win over Bowling Green. So did Maryland. Delayed handoff, Clare straight ahead. Stood up right before he got to the first down marker. Is going to leave him with a 3rd and 1. Andrew Clare out of St. Louis, Missouri, coming in with 882 career yards. His best ever, 148 in a game versus Ohio as a freshman.
Yeah, they really like this guy. They want to get the ball in his hands as much as possible behind that. I go back to that draw right there. That was set up by that quick pass again. It looked like they were going to do the same thing as they did on first down.
He'll get the first down here as he cuts off right tackle. So good start to Bowling Green's offensive series, number 1. Time being called just for the moment, as our referee Kurt Johnson will call in a number of officials, and we'll find out why in a moment.
We're having a malfunction with the play clock. Please reset to 40 seconds after every play, and then start the countdown.
It's a Mid-American Conference officiating crew on the field and up in the booth, as Nick Baniel will handle replay for the MAC today. 1st and 10, Bowling Green 38, Daggy to the right side. So John, twice on first down plays, they go with the pass as opposed to giving it to Claire.
Yeah, and I like what they're doing too. Quick passes right away. And Quentin Morris, I bet you we mentioned his name quite a bit today. He's getting more involved in this offense. And if Scott Miller can't be the guy that makes it go because of that hamstring cue, is going to be the guy they go to.
Now first down throw to the outside. This one to R.B. Marlowe, his second catch. You mentioned Q moments ago. He comes in with 8 catches for 120. And R.B. Marlowe has already doubled his total from the season prior. The last couple of games with 2 catches and a first down. Now Claire running right. Boy, did they gobble him up for a loss at midfield. He had nowhere to go. Aaron Patrick, speaking about calling people's names, we'll mention him a bit now and then. And from the secondary, get some help from Leotis Trey Moore.
Yeah, Leotis Moore on the defensive side for Eastern Kentucky. Pretty strong linebacker. We're going to get involved a lot in this pass game today. Andrew Clare, we've mentioned his name already and his ability to run that football.
Moore, by the way, named the OVC Defensive Player of the Week. Out to the flat again. And when L.J. Scott, his teammate, was asked for reaction to Moore winning that honor, he said, "What did you think about Leotis Moore getting that award?" He goes, "Leotis, who's that?" He goes by Trey, as we just mentioned earlier. Then Bascom, very active in the secondary. He's the quarterback of the defense. Bowling Green behind the chains on 3rd and 12. Play clock not functioning right now. It's actually listed at 90. So they'll work without it. Need to get to the 36. Davy's not going anywhere. He is snowed under back at the 43. Daggy was sacked 5 times last week and had no luck in the second half against the Terps.
You've got to be able to protect on 3rd down here, not able to do it. And this Eastern Kentucky defense gets off. You can see 3 guys a twist up front and confuse that offensive line a bit. You can see Daggy is kind of looking at the rush a little bit, kind of looks down the field. He sees the guy coming, tries to go to the outside, nowhere to go. Eastern Kentucky with a big win getting off the field defensively.
Grant Timberman struggled in his first game, played better as a punter in the second, as Smith makes the catch. And Coach Jinks actually brought in a little competition at the punting situation, but right now Timberman has that position as we speak. Now it's time for Eastern Kentucky to go on offense. The question is today, how many quarterbacks will Mark Elder play? Played 3 last week. Supposed to start with Dakota Allen today, but he's got Austin Scott and Alfonso Howard if necessary, and Allen will get the nod.
Interesting between the three guys. Dakota Allen's the guy that can run and pass. Austin Scott's the guy that likes to throw it. And Alfonso Howard, he'll run the football. So they're going to go with the combo guy and Dakota Allen, who can do both.
L.J. Scott, the captain of this team, will draw the majority of the runs. That short running play nets him a couple. L.J. Scott, 5th in the NCAA in scoring with 3 touchdowns. Rushing at about 6 average per carry, and at his best in the Ohio Valley through 2 weeks. Credit him with a yard, 2nd and 9. Opening minutes, no score. Bowling Green fails to muster an attack on its opening possession. They fake the end around, go right into the teeth that Bowling Green defense, which is a 4-2-5, John. So that's a little unorthodox. What does that mean, and how does that help Bowling Green?
Yeah, when you say the four guys up front, the two linebackers, you have your Mike linebacker and your outside linebacker, and a lot of times in that 4-2-5, what they're going to do is bring in that nickel guy, that extra guy, but typically he's very physical, a guy that's the safety, the strong safety that they can bring down to get involved in the run game. So you want that special guy to be able to cover in pass zone, and you have to be able to thump and be able to come up and hit guys.
Carl Pelini, the defensive coordinator, facing a good team on third down. See what he dials up. Quick pass in the slot, good enough for the first down and then some. Into Bowling Green territory, down to the 47. Jackson Beerman, they say he blocks his tail off. He also catches and runs.
Yeah, he gives an extra effort too. I love the way he's running with the football after the catch. Pretty physical. Guy 6'5", 210 pounds. You got to tackle him out there. Got to lock him up.
Give him 19 on the play, and before the handoff is taken by Scott, Bowling Green calls the first of its 3 first-half timeouts.
Bowling Green.
This is a team defensively that was torched for 444 yards on the ground by Maryland last week and 5 second-half touchdowns.
Yeah, no question about it. That's been the bugaboo for this defense, is giving up the run. They held Oregon and Maryland to a combined 45% in a completion percentage. So when you're talking about where they're getting beat right now, it's just on the run game, and they've been out-muscled against these bigger teams in Oregon and Maryland. So better matchup today. We'll see if the defense can hold up against the run.
This team has had so many injuries, we can't show it to you on one page of graphics. We have to go to 2. And in fact, it really is the defensive side of the ball that's been affected. And that includes Cy Dabney, who was hurt earlier in this year with an ACL. David Konowalski, who started last year. And Hassan Belton, the linebacker. 3 ACL players are out.
Another thing I noticed on there, Presley Moats and Dorian Hendricks, 2 tight ends. They've had to go with kind of a backup tight end, a guy that came over from defense that we'll see in there too today.
1st and 10 into BJ territory. And Scott breaks a tackle, gets close to the sticks, and a gain of 8. Maybe 9. L.J. Scott stands 6 feet 217. He's a 5th-year senior, and he's a transfer from Louisville. This team has a lot of FBS transfers on it. 2nd and 2, pressure off the edge. Scott again breaks a tackle. No, quarterback keep. Off the fake, Dakota Allen. John mentioned that he is very nifty at being able to run the football as well as throw it. He carries for the first down at 10, and here comes Eastern Kentucky. Allen now a throw on first down. They release Scott, go over the middle, man open inside the 20. So another catch, this one good for 11. Smith on the reception. And Eastern Kentucky in the red zone. It's 9 for 11 this year. And Bowling Green has been able to stop the offense inside the red zone just once.
Yeah, and Eastern Kentucky, as you mentioned, running tempo. As soon as they get that first down, they are up to the line and they're going fast, not giving a defense a chance to change some guys that have their hands on their hips early in this football game. So Eastern Kentucky takes their time on 2nd and 3rd down, but if they get that first down defensively, you got to be ready because they're going to snap the football.
I'm assuming hands on hips for the defense, not a good sign.
Not early in a football game. No, it's not.
2nd and 6. We played 6 minutes and change. No score. Football at the BG 14 with a man in motion, quarterback on the roll. Looking to the end zone, incomplete. So Dakota Allen now faced with a 3rd and 6, certainly within the range of Samuel Hayworth for a field goal attempt if this field position maintains.
Now they wanted to get the back out of the backfield that time, but had a receiver deep in the end zone. He was well covered, really just threw that football away. Probably a smart play by Dakota Allen, not forcing that in there, especially on this first drive.
That was intended for 81, the tight end Adam Valiga. Big play in the football game early. Allen on the key. He's got the first down. A design run play from the start, faking to the end around and keeping the football for a 1st and goal.
Look how long that Dakota Allen had that ball in McCleskey's chest area, and good chance to fumble that football, but nice mesh there.
Another running play and very close to the end zone as Daryl McCleskey gets a chance to carry, coming in with 8 career touchdowns and 461 yards. 2nd and goal for the Colonels.
McCleskey's that type of guy that's really shifty in there, a little bit different than L.J. Scott, who's more physical. McCleskey's that guy that has really good burst.
He is to the left of the quarterback. He is 22. Allen. McCleskey in trouble. Bowling Green couldn't make the stop, and he goes in the end zone. Untackled, touchdown. He was surrounded, but it didn't matter. Found his way in the end zone, and it's 6-0 Eastern Kentucky on his 2nd touchdown of the season. There apparently was a flag on the play. So we'll see if the play holds up. Again, our referee is Kurt Johnson.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 22. 15 yards penalty, being forced on the kickoff. The touchdown is good.
Roland Walder, the defensive end here, number 9, watch him. He gets into the backfield, plays that really well, doesn't give an indication to the quarterback which guy he was going after, but McCleskey, you can see him right there. As soon as you go cut across the throat that way, they're going to throw that flag every time. And, you know, score a touchdown, give the ball to the official, and get back to the sideline. Now they're going to back it up on the kickoff.
Philip Richards, the hold, extra point good by Samuel Hayworth. Despite the penalty on McCleskey, he reaches the end zone on an 11-play, 69-yard drive. 7-0 Colonels. It has been 658 days since fans were able to celebrate a home win here at Bowling Green. 346 yards on the ground. 3 different backs did it in that game. Fred Coppett, Josh Cleveland, Donovan Wilson. First time in program history that ever happened. Final score, Bowling Green 27, Buffalo 19 to finish the season 4-8. 3-5 in the MAC in the first year for Mike Jinks, whose team already finds itself in a 7-0 hole. We talked to Jinks earlier in the week about the pressure of this job as he started in field. He said, no. He said, you know, I'm as tough on myself as anybody, in fact, tougher. And I know we need improvement. Just need to find it.
Yep. Most coaches will tell you that you know, nobody puts more pressure on themselves than what they do. So they do it to themselves. Every coach will tell you that same thing.
Short kickoff and fumbled inside the 20. And right now the coverage of Eastern Kentucky is solid. Bowling Green is missing a man back there in Ravion Hargrove, who has suffered through a concussion. And that means both Stevens and Denley will handle kickoffs for Bowling Green. And despite the fact the kick was short, starting position is inside the 30.
Yeah, well covered that time. This Eastern Kentucky special teams unit's been very good. Last week they got 3 turnovers on special teams against Marshall. 2 that really set them up pretty good offensively, but they've been real successful. They blocked an extra point last week, so that's been a focus for Coach Elder and his football team.
Running wide on first down. Going to depend a lot on Andrew Clare today, who again had a strong game against Oregon with 113 yards. Book on Clare, talented, explosive, a Power 5 back according to some coaches, but he's got to get some blocking up front and an effective passing game to have a chance. As John mentioned, they're going to key on him. Now to the flat man coverage. Well, is it an incomplete pass? Yes. Had linesman with the call on the near side. Intended for one of your names in college football you enjoy, Pudavon. Derek Pudavon, John.
Pudavon on the outside. Trying to make a play. That looked like Noah Massey. the freshman wide receiver that time out of that slot. He was lined up in the wide receiver position and drops that football. That's the true freshman, trying to do too much early. Just catch the football, number one, then take it up the field.
Trying to pick up the first down and doing a terrific catch. No, incomplete. Intended for R.B. Marlowe. Could not handle it, and Bowling Green is 3 and out.
Boy, you can see what's happening with these wide receivers, guys that are targeting guys. Marlowe's third target of the day. He's got a couple catches and one he should have had there. And boy, how they're missing Scott Miller early in this football game. He's dressed and on the sideline. He warmed up, and we thought maybe we'd see him today. And without him in there right now, they're targeting a lot of guys not used to catching a football in a game.
5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Backup defensive cornerback Cornelius Floyd with the defense applied. And that's a good point. Scott Miller playing in his 37th game, or at least dressed for his 37th game. Without him in the offense, and you talk to the two coordinators, Kilmer and Padron, and they said, you know, you don't game plan completely different, but you've got to get other guys involved with what they do on offense. That's a short punt there, and good field position for the Colonels, who own the first quarter. 7-0, 6:40 remaining.
The ESPN app now with ESPN Plus. Get more ESPN and down.
John, the first and only scoring drive of the game for Eastern Kentucky. 11 plays, 69 yards. Good combination of pass and run.
And they did it with yards after contact, too. You can see a blitz off the end here. Quarterback keeper, late, gets down by the end zone. He gives the ball up. Short passes, really, as you said before, short passes. Nothing big down the field, but missed tackles here is going to hurt Bowling Green if they continue to miss tackles throughout today.
After a 35-yard punt, here comes the offense again, and right now they're just barreling holes into that secondary. Alonzo Booth, he's referred to by his coordinator, Angelo Mirando, as a thick dude. And he carries for the first down, 19 yards on the play.
6'1", 239 pounds of Booth. I'll tell you.
Again, problems with Bowling Green's defense, trying to stop the run. And during the commercial break, you were commenting that missed tackles in that first scoring drive were evident.
Yeah, last week in the second half versus Maryland, they were attributing a lot of that to being tired, and understandably so, because that defense was out there a lot. But we're talking about the beginning of this football game here. You've got to be able to wrap up and get guys down. So we'll see if they do a better job of wrapping and tackling and not getting that yards after contact.
Mirando, the offensive coordinator, trying to punch home a second score here in just the first quarter. Quarterback is Dakota Allen. Using Scott and Booth again, and Booth just barrels his way forward. It's going to take more than one guy to bring him down. That's a pick of an 8 on the play. We enjoyed talking to Angelo earlier in the week. He used to be upstairs as a coordinator. He said, I want to look the quarterback in the eye and get down on the field. And we said, how's your demeanor when talking to quarterbacks? If you're upset with him, he said, no, I try to keep my ego, keep it down, and be able to make them relax, make them feel the moment, and not feel any more pressure than you need to.
Yeah, he's learned that. You just don't want to be on that sideline raising your voice to a quarterback. We've seen some coaches do it across the country. Not necessarily the right thing to do, because you've got to be thinking about the next play you're going to call out there versus getting on somebody.
We have an injured Falcon. Looks like 93, Kyle Jr. Look at the Falcons defense as it tries to set itself now. DeMonte Hagler's the backup nose guard. Kyle Jr. walked out of the field with a little assistance. He may be back. In the meantime, it is 1st and 10, Eastern Kentucky, for its 11th play in the Bowling Green territory. Jim Barber, John Gregory in this matchup between OVC and Mid-American. Been a rough day for the Mid-American so far, albeit against good competition. Kent State beaten by Penn State, and Toledo at home losing to the University of Miami. Solo backfield, now on the end run, instead of quarterback keep. Headed to the end zone and very close to it is Dakota Allen, who gets near the goal line, down to the 2, and a carry of 26. And right now, Falcons don't have an answer for that play.
They don't. It's up tempo again here as they run the jet sweep or fake the jet sweep to McCleskey, the guy that's got that quickness and ability that makes those linebackers move out of there. And you can see Dakota Allen. That's why they like him at that starting quarterback position. They've got some nice relievers coming out of that bullpen, but Dakota Allen really gives them that multi-purpose quarterback.
Number 11,
throw it down the field, and we haven't even done.
A little more emphasis on equipment this year, and as a result, Kurt Johnson has sent Nico Creamer to the sideline for the moment. First and goal, official spot, the 4-yard line of Bowling Green. McCleskey in the backfield. McCleskey to the end zone. Did he get there? Just short. Second and goal.
Boy, that's going to upset Mark Elder as your best wide receiver, Nico Creamer, sent off the field because of not having the proper equipment on there when you're down by the goal line.
Quarterback sneak straight ahead. Touchdown. 13-0 Colonels. Still 4 minutes and change remaining in the first half. More like the first quarter. Well, that was too easy.
Yeah, not a whole lot of things you don't see week in and week out. Had the jet sweep where the quarterback keeps it, and right there it's just me against you on that goal line, mano a mano, and Eastern Kentucky's offensive line up there, Jackson Bardell, the center, just cleared the way for his quarterback.
Alex Shelton the snap. Philip Richards the hold. And the extra point is true by Sam Hayworth. Eastern Kentucky with a drive of 60+. The first time this time around, 7 plays, 59 yards in 2 minutes and 23 seconds. And EKU is carving up Bowling Green early.
Yeah, you know, you think about this Eastern Kentucky football team. In the first game of the year, they played Morehead State. They rushed for 404 yards in that football game. So they're able to pound it on the ground. And, you know, this offense is known for running it, physical football. They've got guys up front with some experience, too. But they've got not 1, not 2, but 3 guys when you include Alonzo Booth, the big guy in the backfield. So they'll pound you with the big guy and then bring in the guy with all kinds of speed and McCleskey, and then LJ Scott. He's one of that. Same thing on the quarterback side. He can do both. He can run hard and physical. He's got good speed, and he can catch the football too. So very young, very good football team, Eastern Kentucky.
We saw Clint Stevens ready to receive the kick at the 5-yard line as the Colonels, who played well in their second game against Marshall, already have the Falcons on their heels, and this drive will start from the 25. The MAC today against the Big Ten, Ball State got the first score, beaten by Indiana 38-10. Penn State put 63 on Kent State. That game was 7-7 early, and Minnesota got 10 in the first quarter, leads Miami of Ohio 10-0. Akron and Northwestern will play tonight. In the meantime, not good days for Rutgers, Maryland, and Nebraska, beaten by Troy today from the Sun Belt.
Troy, a good football team, well-coached football team, too. And not a big surprise. There were some people that thought that Troy would have an opportunity to stay with Nebraska, if not beat them, and they did.
How can the Falcons get some push from that offensive front of Kramer, Bright, Kurtz, Lavis, and Taborn? As Andrew Clare, who averaged 7 yards a carry last year, those numbers are down this year so far to less than 4 carries on this first play of the series.
All right, and that's the one thing this Bowling Green team has to do. They have to establish this running game. They need to keep that defense off the field already. We've seen them on there quite a bit.
Yeah, agreed. Clare again right into the pile of that defense. There's nothing to run, though, for Clare. He is stood up and brought down. Some of the big kids up there, like Elijah Taylor, the transfer from Notre Dame, who played at Moeller High School in Cincinnati, came on board in the spring, are really providing some good defensive attack for Eastern Kentucky.
Well, they've got some size now. I'll tell you, Bowling Green's offense. They had 136 yards rushing against Oregon, just 15.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 45. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, the only downside so far in this game, John, is the fact they've been hit with 2 unsportsmanlike penalties. One was after a touchdown was scored, and now this one on Darian Tips Clemens. I believe it was on 45. So the Falcons get a first down out of it. Good field position now from the 45. Daggy on first down, stepping out of the pocket and tossing at the last minute, and maybe picking up a yard.
Boy, what a dangerous play that is, throwing that ball back to the middle this time. Just looking to try to get rid of it here to pick up any yardage. You could see Andrew Clare was just kind of standing there. He was in protection mode, and then as the quarterback scrambled, he found himself open. Didn't know he was going to get the ball.
This time to the right side, little screen play. It doesn't pick up much there, maybe a yard according to the official spot. So as we start to wind down the first quarter, the Falcons, the catch by Quentin Morris, looking for some high-powered offense. You mentioned Q. I mean, he's well thought of out of Richmond, Texas. This offense unable to get it going yet.
Eastern Kentucky's defense has all 11 guys within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. Now backing off Morris.
3rd and 8. Daggy with time's got a man. It's a big play. So Quentin Morris, we've talked about him already. He's got those soft hands, so anything that comes close to him, he's going to get.
I really like this kid as a wide receiver. 6'4", 223 pounds. Mentioned to the coaches this week, against Maryland, he made some tough catches against the middle, and he's got great size on the outside. I think they need to get the ball in his hands as much as possible.
Good for 27. Football at the 27. Biggest threat of Bowling Green. Little end run, little flea flicker. Daggy's got a man, and instead just throws it away.
Boy, he's going to look at film, and they're just going to drop their heads. He had a guy wide open down the middle. Jordan Wayne Prather was sitting in the end zone just waving his arms open, and he tried to get it up to the sideline. And boy, coaches up in the booth must be going crazy, because he couldn't have been more uncovered in that situation right there. Well-designed flea flicker that fooled Eastern Kentucky, but didn't find the right guy.
Not sure why the officials are huddling back to the 35-yard line. But we've got 5 of them in, and here's Kurt Johnson once again to tell us what's happening. Just as soon as he gets it straight. Not sure the reason for all the hesitation here. Would there have been intentional grounding as a possibility?
Oh, we'll see this. Takes a long time here, unless nobody was down the field either.
Because the quarterback handed the ball off to another player and then got the ball back, he cannot legally dump the pass out of the pocket. Therefore, we have intentional grounding by the offense. Loss of down at the 36-yard line, brings up 3rd down.
So you notice that as this play winds down, Daggy is still in the pocket. And as John mentioned, receiver wide open on the opposite side of the field, and he just didn't catch it.
Yeah, he had a receiver going up the sideline who was actually knocked out of bounds, and I thought they could have argued that that's the direction he was throwing it.
Good point.
And that's, I thought, was the case. So that was a tough break for Bowling Green.
Got to get the football down to the 17 to pick up a first down. Or it'll be a very long field goal attempt if they decide to do that. Inside handoff, Clare makes a man miss. to the 20. Spotted in 19. Now decision for Bowling Green on 4th and 2. Now, you know your defense is not stopping anybody. So, John, after this fine run, what are you going to do here?
Yeah, I almost think you have to get points on the board. What an effort by Claire as he bounced to the outside, makes a couple people miss. But right now, Bowling Green's going to go for it here in this situation. I like to see him try to get some points on the board. Maybe they'll try to draw him off sides here or do something, but looks like they're going to go for it.
I'm sorry, it is 3rd down. Excuse me, it's not 4th down. 3rd and 3. So they don't have to make that decision yet. Daggy on the rollout, looking and throwing. That'll be a 1st down at the 15-yard line. Do a strike to R.B. Marlowe, who, in light of the fact that Scott Miller is not playing, has become a favorite target here.
Yeah, his 4th target of the day, and a nice throw to the outside by Daggy as he throws it on the roll to his right-hand side. Marlowe coming up with the catch.
So Mike Jink's team now into the red zone. Spotted the 15, under a minute to go, 1st quarter. Bowling Green needs touchdowns here. Managed 2 in the 1st half against Maryland, then got shut out. Pressure on Daggy. Able to avoid, and now rolling and throwing. And he did a nice job of avoiding a sack there. As he's able to get to the sidelines, he was in a world of trouble.
Yeah, he was in a world of trouble because right guard Austin Labos not able to control the defensive end of Tyquan Evans as he came off the edge, and no time to throw the football for Jarrett Daggy behind there, and he just had to get outside and try to just extend the play and maybe make something happen. But this offensive line has to try to slow down this Colonel's defensive front, who's getting to the quarterback.
Not easy to do with 55 Evans, who had a limited role last year but is playing a lot this year. Bowling Green's been efficient enough in the red zone as we take a look at the number of plays in this drive. We have reached the 10th.
Bowling Green, their 2nd. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Those timeouts aren't nearly as critical as the 2nd half when you use them if you're trailing in a football game. The idea is to use all 3 in the 1st half, and then you start over with 3 more in the 2nd. But now faced with a 2nd and 10. And John, if they do get down to what would be a 4-down situation, namely needing a yard or 2, are you in favor of the field goal, what you were saying earlier, or go for it?
Yeah, depending on the situation. But back there, when I thought it was the distance that it was, we were anticipating 4th down, had that penalty. It was a little confusing, but
well, I confused you.
No, I mean, with the intentional grounding, I thought, loss of down, a lot of other stuff going on there. Everything was confusing on that, but I think if it's short and 4th and a yard, maybe you go for it. But other than that, I want to at least get some points on this drive.
Right now, it's 2nd and 10 without their best receiver, 21, Scott Miller, still recovering from a hamstring injury. Man coverage to the outside. And a penalty flag. Likely pass interference. Boundary corner on this team is Jared Tucker. And that's a look at, or rather Jordan Whitfield. That's a look at Whitfield there. And Jared Tucker is the other corner on the opposite side, intended for Q Morris.
Pass interference, defense, number 10. The ball occurred at the 2-yard line. Spot foul, 1st down.
So 2 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalties, and now this in just the 1st quarter.
Well, Eastern Kentucky likes their defensive backs because they're long and tall and long arms, and he knocks that ball away, but some hand fighting there, and didn't necessarily see where the pass interference was, but you got Quentin Morris, the big guy out there.
1st and goal, Clara straight ahead. Lost the football. Eastern Kentucky says it has it. But question is, was he down? And the ruling on the field is he was. I imagine it'll be reviewed.
Just a matter of time before they stop this and take a look at it. Eastern Kentucky's coach right now, Coach Elder, Mark Elder, is running down to the goal line to call a timeout here to make sure they have time to review this thing.
And to no one's surprise, Bowling Green wanted to go as fast as possible to run a play before replay got a hold of it. Well, this is big. Falcons with its defense stopping no one so far, keeping the defense off the field, marching down the field by 8 of penalties. You be the judge. Claire straight ahead. Can you tell whether his knee was down or not?
I think that knee may have been down. He was starting to extend the football. That right knee touched the ground. I think it was before the ball started to dislodge from the hand.
Stan Evans is our replay communicator, and Nick Baniel is a replay official that'll take a look at a number of angles. And basically with a 5-camera setup, that's what he'll have to work with. So this is huge right here. Let's see if you can tell any differently from this point.
Watch that right knee, right there. When it's down, the ball's still in his hands. He's reaching for the goal line. He still has that ball. I don't think it was coming out.
After further review, the ruling that the runner was down stands. First down. Ball be spotted at the 1-yard line. Second down.
That's huge. Well, Eastern Kentucky's reaction was no doubt about it.
Yep.
But by rule, if knee hits the ground before the ball is loose.
I like what Mark Elder did, though, sprinting down there to get that timeout to give those officials, make sure they were going to take a look at it and get the call right.
We have a big play to start the second quarter. When we resume for Bowling Green, it'll be 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line as replay upholds a down by contact. 14-0 though, Eastern Kentucky, and the Falcons need points badly. When play resumes for quarterback Dagey, running back Claire, Q number 80, Quentin Morris, and the offensive line of Bowling Green. 2nd and goal from the 1. Big 77 John Kurtz, one of the 6 graduate students on his team, up in the line of scrimmage. Dagey now over center. They'll try to quarterback sneaking in. Pushed back by the defensive front 4 and then some, and held short at the goal line. 3rd now and goal. Didn't get the surge that he was hoping for.
No, he's trying to get it pushed too by Andrew Clare, the running back. If they're going to do that, bring in their big guy and try to push behind him to get him in the end zone.
The ruling on the previous play that the runner was short of the goal line is under further review.
Well, I don't know with those bodies down there if looking at this is going to matter at all. Going to be tough to see if he's able to cross that line on a quarterback sneak.
Long first quarter just concluding for Mike Jinks. Last year when his team lost to an FCS team, fans around here weren't very happy about it. Trying to avoid that same fate today. Nagy running behind 64 Austin Labus on the right side. He's a returning starter in that team. And you see that front wall. TJ Comstock, a former walk-ons in the middle of it for Eastern Kentucky, and just about everybody else.
Yeah,
that included
the masses are down there. I just don't see where you can overrule this call because you can't see too many bodies.
We don't have an end zone camera directly at the goal line, so it's a judgment play here.
After further review, the ruling that the runner was short of the goal line stands.
So now 3rd and goal. Do you try the middle of that lineup again, or do you do a little play action here, maybe roll your quarterback?
Well, if we're going to do it here, I think you're going to give it to your running back, but he's awfully close to the line of scrimmage here, so it looks like they're going to push him.
Daggy straight ahead, gets the push. Still waiting for a signal. They'll unpile. Eastern Kentucky says it has the football. How about this?
Well, you got an official there calling touchdown right now, and the Bowling Green players touchdown. Eastern Kentucky players were making the call, but the official call comes from the...
And it's a score. But they're still huddling. It's been an interesting game so far.
Yeah, and you know they're going to take a look at this again.
They've got to. Eastern Kentucky exploded off that play like it had recovered the ball, because that was a third down play. It would not have been a change of possessions.
26. Thank you.
It doesn't surprise me that they came out from underneath the pile with the football, because once he crosses the goal line, they're still down there reaching and grabbing for the ball. But you can see right there, he's clearly into the end zone. But underneath there, the ball changes hands many times, and that's where they come up with it. But he was already into the end zone for the touchdown.
Apparently that's been confirmed by a replay, and so now the 7th point. Nate Needham hoping to tack on. Good looking drive, 13 plays, 75 yards, 5 minutes. And that's 5 minutes. You keep that defense off the field.
Beautiful.
In which Carl Pelini his group has struggled.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. You know, when you put a 10+ play drive, that just gives that defense the rest. Plus, they had a couple controversial penalties on there. They also had reviews, so they had plenty of time to regroup over on the sidelines. Let's see if scoring offensively here will light a fire under this defense.
First points scored by Bowling Green since the first half last week against Maryland. It's been an interesting game so far, hasn't it?
It certainly has been.
With reviews, fumbles that were not either confirmed or overturned. A couple of unsportsmanlike penalties. Pass interference at the goal line. That's L.J. Scott deep.
And you have to go back, if I'm thinking correctly, that unsportsmanlike conduct kept that drive alive.
It did.
For Bowling Green, that allowed them to get down there. And couple mental mistakes by Eastern Kentucky that they don't typically get. This is a pretty disciplined football team, and you can't do that when you're on the road.
Nate Needham from the region, Northwest Indiana and Chesterton, will kick off, number 12. Scott is the deep man at the goal line, and he has a return close to 40 yards this year to his credit. 14-7 our score. And that one is headed to Scott in the end zone. He'll put a knee down, and the drive for Eastern Kentucky will start from its own 25. Let's take a look at Bowling Green's very efficient drive. John mentioned make that EKU, which has 15 running plays so far to just 3 passing. So any team that plays Bowling Green is going to look at the footage of past games and know that they can run the football.
Yeah, no question about it, especially if you're a football team that can run the ball. Eastern Kentucky, the way they can run the football, as we said before, over 400 yards rushing to open the year against Morehead State.
Alfonso Howard, one of 3 quarterbacks eligible to play today. Not on the lineup right now, and he'll deliver the ball in the handoff on the first play to Ralph Patton, 5th-year senior out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Ball loose. Howard out of Chicago, Illinois, by way of Asa College, 6'1", 205. Has played limited, but he's supposed to be dynamic in the run game for this team.
Last week had 13 rushes against Marshall for 64 yards. He was a spark for this team in the second half, who couldn't get anything going offensively, and he came in that ball game and really kind of helped that running game. He's going to make it spread out a little bit more. Not that Dakota Allen has.
Eastern Kentucky, they're first.
Not that Dakota Allen hasn't had success running the football, but Howard is a guy that can really do it off the edge for you.
And they have a third player, a third quarterback potential, in Austin Scott. Both Scott and Allen played against Marshall. Both were intercepted in that loss last week, 32-16. Let's talk about Eastern Kentucky, what we've seen so far in the first quarter plus.
Yeah, I think they've lived up to what they do, and that's running the football. You know, this team is first in their conference, the Ohio Valley Conference, and 8th in the country in rushing, averaging 271 yards a game through the first 2 games. So no surprise that they were going to come out here and try to run the ball against a defense that hasn't been very good and is 126th in the country and 12th in the MAC against the rushing. So it's what it is, and that's what they've been doing.
So far, 16 carries for 125, and that's a very healthy average. They're near to 8 yards a carry, and they picked up several here on first down. So they get the plus side on first down and make second and third down quite manageable if you get to third down.
That's our first look at Jason Lewis, too. Big back, 6'3", 242 pounds. Eastern Kentucky really using the entire 3 deep against these guys so far, giving guys rest, and that'll keep you fresh out there and really continue to attack this defense.
It is 3rd and 3. Zone read, quarterback keep. He'll get a push at the last minute, pending the spot. And he's close to the 35-yard line. It could be a first down. And in fact, it is a first down. Howard got exactly what he needed. 13, Jamari Bozeman had a couple of picks last year against Akron, was up there to make the stop. But fresh set of downs for Eastern Kentucky as it goes to the backup quarterback. Now we'll send Dan Paul, the tight end, to the outside and bring him in motion. Well, the one thing, when you talk to Angelo Morando and you talk to people that have seen Eastern Kentucky, they'll show you a lot of different looks. Move a lot of people around on offense.
Yep, a lot of eye candy.
Yeah.
They're going to motion guys, but Maryland did that last week too. Bowling Green was not out of position. They just couldn't stop the run, but Kyle Jr. did that time. He got there aggressively. He's a guy that they had to help off the field earlier. That time he's in on the tackle and throws the running back down. Now they're trying to play with a little bit of an attitude, and that's what you have to be, nasty on the defensive side.
2nd and 10. Oh my gosh, what a tackle. What a hit. Was that Clint Stevens, number 2? With a career high of 118 tackles and a number of pass breakups, he broke up a run there.
Remember we said nasty? There's some nastiness coming in off the edge as that cornerback. He's got some experience in 23 career starts. He was lucky that he got his head turned around, hit him with the shoulder that time, but you make the play, you stop a guy, get back on your side of the line of scrimmage. You don't want to cause a penalty there. You could see the official pushing him back, but give him credit for really coming in there and being physical.
Now, John, Eastern Kentucky's been perfect on third down, 4 for 4, but needing to pick up 8. And this one broken up at the line of scrimmage. Big old 50, Jonah Harper. Say the thing about Harper, he's got a high motor, and that motor was running pretty well there.
Yep, and you could see the emotion. It's amazing when an offense goes down there and scores and the defense has some time to rest on that side. Really changed the emotion a little bit. Came out, played physical. You could see if you can't get to the quarterback, get those arms up in the air. Harper is able to knock it down. And this defense is off the field, and that's a win for Bowling Green now. Let's see if they can go down and capitalize on this.
A little more of that eye candy here on 4th and 8. Penalty flag on the play. Could be a motion penalty against Eastern Kentucky. It's a short punt, and it takes a wonderful Colonel bounce inside the 15 at the 13. Now the question is, will it be upheld? It's a punt of 46, obviously no return. Sometimes with all that motion, you put yourself in a tough spot on what should be a very simple punt. So my imagination, do we have a lot of huddling by the officials so far?
A lot of talking and
half.
communicating. Make sure we get it right.
There's no foul in the play for illegal formation. There's also no foul in the play for running in the kicker because the player was blocked into the kicker.
So, punt all the way back to the 13. 14-7 Eastern Kentucky. The game getting a little more. credit its Colonel defense. It has held Bowling Green to a little more than 2 yards per carry in the rushing game. That means they've had to depend on the pass. And when they break up passes, that puts more pressure than on the run. And right now, some difficulty in handling the football, yet Bowling Green is within 7 at 14-7 as this play in the game resumes. Comparison of rushing yards really is no comparison, but Bowling Green makes a stop there, and as John mentioned earlier, first touchdown on offense and then defensive pressure and a stop. Maybe things are turning right now for the Falcons. Jared Diggy missed 4 games last year on a gadget play here at Falcon Stadium, where he turned out to be a wide receiver and got popped on the play and was out for a third of the season. Faking to Claire over the middle. That was right into traffic. Incomplete. And Moore is down. Trey Moore. Almost like that hybrid linebacker and defensive secondary player who started camp at safety. It's also played in the nickel, and this would be huge for Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, he had a pick off last week against Marshall on a deflection late in that football game. He's a guy that really is kind of that hustle guy that you need in that lineup.
Another Kentucky player down. Ben Bascom for Eastern Kentucky. Linebacker Trey Moore and defensive secondary personnel Ben Bascom for the safety spot. Both shaken up on the previous play for Eastern Kentucky. That's Moore right now in the middle of your picture, off the field for the moment.
Well, you want to get those two guys back in there as quick as you can. You're talking about the #1 and #2 tackler on this team.
Yeah, good point. 2nd and 10. Falcons trailing 14-7, had trailed 14-0. Trying to get the running game going. This is Claire dancing as well as he can up to the 20-yard line. Andrew Clare makes something out of nothing on more than one occasion. There isn't much running room so far for him into that front 4 defense of the Colonels.
No, you hear all the time running with their eyes. That's what he's doing there, shifting and moving there as he's trying to find that hole. Picks up an extra 2 or 3 yards just by extra effort.
Well, not that stutter step. Looked a little like Le'Veon Bell,
yes,
just trying to find his way through. Trying to pick up the first down. Intended for Clare. Incomplete. And so Bowling Green, now deep in its own territory, must give up the football on 4th and 4. Taquan Evans in the middle of your picture. Got to play a lot for Aaron Patrick last year when Patrick was hurt. This defense is solid for Eastern Kentucky.
Bowling Green had the matchup they wanted that time. They had Clare on, I think it was the defensive lineman, Taquan Evans, that was covering him out of the backfield, and Dagey came up a little bit short on that. I think he was looking at the rush. That's a pass you got to complete.
Almost got to Tinnerman. Instead, this is going to be retrieved and fumble. Bowling Green's got it, and a chance to return it for a touchdown. Wait a minute. We're going to rule because of the muff. Play coming back to the 29-yard line. Will be Bowling Green football. Well, the reaction was strong enough from the Falcons to take it to the house. Either way, off the error on the attempted return or catch by McCluskey, Falcons have the ball to 29.
Jim, one of the things we talked about is one of the keys is being good on special teams, especially on the road. Eastern Kentucky has been very good up to this point, and then that muff punt there.
That's actually B.K. Smith couldn't handle.
Allows Bowling Green to get the football on the 24-yard or 29-yard line going in now. Let's see if this offense can convert on this error by Eastern Kentucky.
Melvin Jackson did the right thing. He went straight ahead with it.
Yep.
Couldn't advance it. Now for the 29, Mike Jink's team has turned it around in the second quarter after trailing 14-0 in the first.
And I'm going back and I'm going to try to find Quentin Morris, the big wide receiver.
Going to take a shot here?
Yeah, I want to find him, but they're too deep coverage. Look for somebody down the middle.
Still they'll run the football to Clare. Breaks a tackle, forges his way to the 23 and a pickup of 5, maybe close to 6.
Here's where you're really missing Scott Miller again. I say that because Quentin Morris on the outside, they're really double covering him with a cornerback, leaving the center of the field wide open for a guy like Miller.
Maybe offsides, free play. They're going to the end zone for Morris. He caught the ball. Did he catch it in play? Touchdown! We'll see if the play stands. I believe it does.
Offside, defense, number 55. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
24 yards.
Jim, it happened twice last week against Marshall where they jumped off sides on the defense, and Marshall converted 2 of these for touchdowns. Now Bowling Green takes advantage of the defender going off sides, and for the second game in a row, that's the 3rd touchdown pass on a free play against this Eastern Kentucky defense.
Kurt Maddox is the defensive coordinator for the Colonels. He addressed that subject earlier this week. Extra point to tie. 14-14. What did you say earlier in the game? Find Quentin Morris.
Yeah, he's a big receiver on the outside, and why not try it here? Free play. The only thing I'm thinking is keep the ball in bounds here. Give your guy an opportunity. You know it's a free play, but great effort by Morris. Catches the football both feet in bounds here. No question about this one.
That's a catch in the National Football League, right? With 2 feet in.
Certainly is. Well defended, but it was a free play anyway. You might as well take a shot at it, and Quentin Morris comes down with the football, and a big play for Bowling Green as they tie this thing up.
John, we've had a reversal of fortune. Eastern Kentucky up 14-0 in the first. Bowling Green with 2 touchdowns to tie. Why has this happened?
Well, errors, mental mistakes. Eastern Kentucky had a defensive penalty that kept the drive alive for Bowling Green, and then they muffed that punt, so special teams gives Bowling Green an opportunity, and then they give up a free play for another touchdown there. So one mental mistake and 2 physical mistakes out there that allowed this Bowling Green team to score offensively.
Very short scoring drive with just a half a minute. 2 plays, 29 yards. Nate Needham to kick off. High end over end into the end zone. Was a point in this game when the Colonels went to a second quarterback. Always raises the question, after you have momentum from the first, why go to a second or a third?
Yeah, good. I was thinking the same thing. You know, why would you do it? I can understand it. You know, maybe it was designed. He was going to take those snaps in the second quarter, regardless of what the situation was. But so much success they were having offensively with Dakota Allen, as we see him coming back out on the field now.
Well, coordinator Angelo Mirando, you've seen him in our pictures moments ago, says all 3 quarterbacks get about the same amount of snaps. So I don't know if that means they really haven't decided on somebody, though you assume that Dak Allen's the guy. And this really is where Eastern Kentucky continues to have its success, and why not continue with it? That's L.J. Scott after they got a dose of Alonzo Booth thrown at Bowling Green on a previous possession.
And again, you see a missed tackle there as they're in the backfield with the opportunity to get him down back there.
Now play action on second down. Dak able to make a man miss and is brought down short of the 30. It almost seems to me that Eastern Kentucky has got away from what has made it effective, namely giving the ball to Scott, McCluskey, and Alonzo Booth.
Yeah, no question about it. And, you know, when you average, you're #1 in your conference and 8th in the country in rushing, you don't want to get away from what you've been having success with. Now you're forced to do it in 3rd and long, and for Bowling Green, that's the key. What can they do on 1st down? Can they stop that run and force Eastern Kentucky to pass?
See if Carl Pelini, the defensive coordinator, sends pressure. He'll rush 4, drop 7. Allen out of trouble and into the 1st down, brought down past the 40-yard line. Huge run by Dakota Allen, able to take the football from the 28 to the 42, a pickup of 14. That was big. And we have an injured Falcon at the 45.
Boy, that looks like it's Brandon Harris, #1, their leading tackler. Again, this defense getting beat up that time, and Dakota Allen, the quarterback, lowered his head at the end of this run. And Watch this at the end here. He kind of lowers his head. This is a linebacker he's taken on here, and hope he's okay. Looks like maybe he got him in the shoulder area, and he's moving that right arm as he walks off the field, and looks like he's going to be okay.
Not suggesting it happened on that play, but some people have called into question, what if the ball carrier launches himself into a defender?
Well,
a la targeting that would ordinarily be called in the defense.
Yeah.
With 8:50 to go in a very entertaining first half. 26 offensive plays for Eastern Kentucky, and 22 have been on the ground, and that's been good for 177 and almost an average of 8 yards a carry. So wouldn't expect Dak Allen and this offense to get too far away from that. Tied football game though, 14. Klusky running wide. Bowling Green does a nice job of stretching out the play on Darrell, who has terrific vision, a junior from Dayton, Ohio. Not terribly far from here. Just a pickup of a yard, and we have another official timeout. And now back to live action. Approaching 8 minutes for the first half. A bunch of receivers on both sides. Allen faking the inside handoff, stepping up again, not running anywhere this time. Falcons did a nice job of contain there. 93 Kyle Jr. was shaken up earlier in the game. Yes, it's Smith's around quarterback Allen.
Now, nice job defensively by Bowling Green secondary. They were stacked with wide receivers on both sides. Nowhere to go with the football. Dakota Allen pulled it down, but not able to pick up yardage here. Now we got 3rd and long.
Another 3rd and predictable against Carl Pelini's defense. Pelini hired in the offseason by Mike Jinks. Said they spent 4 hours talking when they first met about football, diagramming plays, and Jinks said it looked like a perfect fit. Allen stepping up, trying to keep an eye from him, but he's going to run, and he picks up another first down on 3rd down. And Dakota Allen has been elusive, to say the least.
On the year, he only had 4 yards coming into this football game when you count the sacks. But boy, he's really showed some elusiveness like you talked about, his ability to run that football. They said he's a run-pass option guy. We can see why today.
It's 19 on the play, back to the run, and L.J. Scott. Football loss picked up by Bowling Green. Falcons running it back. Is the play alive? If it is, it's going to be returned. And then to the 20. Well, now the question is it upheld? Jerry McBride on the return in Eastern Kentucky with yet another turnover in the game.
I'll tell you, I do think this is a fumble. I mean, I think it's clearly a fumble. Nobody recognized it except that ball bounced so far away. McBride was the only guy around it. He scoops it up and thought he had an opportunity to score.
A return of 48 yards. We'll take another look. My guess is the booth is probably reviewing it as well.
L.J. Scott.
What do you think?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I thought the ball came out earlier.
You can tell
it is
better
out
from here.
Ruling on the previous play of a fumble and recovery by the defense is under further review.
So if it's out, the return of 48 yards by Jerry McBride would stand.
Well, here's the thing. The ball's not out. It's still against his body, but John Harper gets that right hand in there and punches the football, and that allows it to start to move out. So the question's going to be, was the ball moving out as he was going to the ground? Because it clearly came out with the punch that Harper had right on the football.
Falcons were 4th best in the country in fumble recoveries last year with 15. This would be the 3rd time that Bowling Green has turned over a team on fumbles this season if it's upheld. So what's your guess what Nick Baniel's facing in the replay booth here?
I don't know. I want to take a look at it again just to see. I know Harper punched it out of there. The ball was starting to move. It's just going to be whether they say it was still up against his body, but that ball was moving. as he was going to the ground.
This didn't take long.
After further review, the ruling of a fumble and recovery by the defense is confirmed. First down, Bowling Green.
So in this game, penalties on defense, a muff punt by Smith, and now this. And Mark Elder's team has gone from a 2-touchdown lead to possibly being behind by a touchdown.
Watch Harper come in here with his right hand right there and punches on the football, and it comes out. And the ball was not completely out, but it was moving. I think that's a good call by the officials.
Good recognition by Jerry McBride from that secondary to scoop and go. Second fumble recovery for him. Daggy may take a shot on first down. Receiver wide open at the 15. It might have been a breakdown in that secondary of Eastern Kentucky. As Pudavon makes the catch, it is first and goal inside the 5.
I love what Bowling Green did there. They sent looked like they were going to send all 4 guys vertical. They sent the 2 guys deep down the middle to hold the safeties, and the cornerbacks kept bailing, and both wideouts stopped to the outside, wide open for the throw.
On first and goal, Daggy will throw it away.
Not sure what Daggy was thinking on that. Things start to speed up when you get down inside the 10-yard line, and he was looking to the right, didn't have a receiver, and made the right play by throwing it away to live to play another down here, but not sure where he was looking. That looked like everybody was confused on that one.
The other problem is, do you have confidence in your rushing game? Just 36 yards in 13 carries. Daggy will give the clear. Trying to muscle his way toward the end zone. Did he break the plane? Yes, touchdown. And Bowling Green, once down by 2 scores, is now up by 1. What a turn of events in this game.
Wow. Remember we said that extra effort, what he gave last year to this football team, and now look at that extra effort. He gets hit there not by 1, not by 2 guys, and then he gets pushed in by the other defender, and Claire in a fight, get that extra yards. Big touchdown for Bowling Green.
Nate Needham trying to stay perfect on extra points. 7 for 7 this season. So in this game, 2 turnovers from Eastern Kentucky have resulted in 14 points, and Jerry McBride sets up the go-ahead score for the Falcons by Andrew Clare. Mike Jinks of Bowling Green, one of 13 black coaches among 130 teams in the country. We asked Mike earlier in this week, as you take a look at his coaching resume, should administrations across the country do more to get more black head coaches? He said, I think it starts more with us as minority head coaches looking to hire some people of color. And in fact, he has made sure when he has done some interviewing that he's included some minorities as possible eventual head coaches.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. He said, got to get more graduate assistants, guys starting out, getting into the business is key.
Earlier today, the matchup of Syracuse and Florida State, won by Syracuse. 2 black coaches. Now a return by Scott, who's brought down by an open field tackle by 25 Ty Redding, who has an older brother in the practice squad with the Washington Redskins. You may remember Tio Redding, excellent receiver here with Dino Babers and Syracuse. That earlier game between Florida State and Syracuse, 2 black head coaches, and Willie Taggart and Dino Babers, who was at Bowling Green most recently. Now let's see if Eastern Kentucky can regroup. Dakota Allen started this game, was taken out for a bit, now back in. Able to run the football with a lot of success. Now first down, that continues, and this one in an open field could go the distance. Touchdown, McCluskey for the line of scrimmage of the 32 for 68 yards.
Well, that's answering quickly. Watch the left guard here. Schroeder getting down the field, opening this thing up. Watch that right side of your screen. if you're a Bowling Green defender, you got to get off the blocks, but down the field you can see Schroeder picks up the key block wide open. Nobody going to catch this guy with his quickness.
Now for the first half, Bowling Green has 275 yards rushing. Of course, that particular run of nearly 70 bumps up the average per carry, but this continues to be the Achilles heel for Bowling Green, giving up 444 to Maryland last week, and now 275, 68 of those to McCleskey moments ago.
Yeah, you got to watch. You miss a guy in the backfield there, and then kind of looked like a hold there, but they didn't get the call on that. But once he got by that first level of defense, there was nobody stopping him, going to chase him down.
So for Darrell, the junior again out of Dayton, Ohio, 6 carries for 82, 2 touchdowns. John, at this rate, first team to 60 will win this game.
Wow.
And that does not include the potential of overtime.
Yeah, still 6 minutes to go in this thing. It's back and forth.
Very entertaining game.
Well, for your Eastern Kentucky, I don't think you make a change at quarterback anymore. Dakota Allen gives you that balance in there that you want to have now. That threat of the threat of throwing the football will help open up that run game. Why not when you have guys like L.J. Scott and Darrell McCleskey that can run it, and then Alonzo Booth, your big back, over 230 pounds.
Absolutely. RB Marlowe now is deep. As the kickers are getting a workout today too on extra points and kickoffs. Samuel Hayworth, the kickoff. This bounces past Marlowe and past Bryson Denley into the end zone for a touchback. So this drive will start from the 25. Well, still, as John mentioned, 6 minutes to go in the first half. Each team with 3 touchdowns. Game tied at 21. On the scheme of things, if you have to say one team needs to win more than the other, it would have to be Bowling Green, I would think.
Oh, no question about that. Eastern Kentucky, stepping up from the FCS, playing a group of 5 team here. This is just a feather in the cap if they can go on the road and beat this team. They were on the road last week, stepping up, trying to play up to Marshall, and gave them a very good football game and very physical game, coming back here and doing it again before their conference starts. So I think Bowling Green needs to get this win, especially at home.
Quentin Morris, the outside receiver on the near side, cuts into the middle, and after the cut and catch, picks up close to 6. Hugh Morris, good-looking wideout from Richmond, Texas, is 6'4", 223 pounds. And again, Bowling Green was the school that offered him first. So he is hanging him back. Second and short. Claire trying to find some room in the middle of that lineup. Is able to get too close to 3 yards. It'll be third and short. This is how Bowling Green started the game, with a pass. Nice gain on first down and then back to the run.
Yeah, they haven't been able to run the ball on first down. It's been the pass that's setting up third and short or second and medium for them.
Third and short here, 3rd and 2. Back to Claire, first down. They'll spot him at the 42. It's pickup around the 36, and a necessary pickup of 3. It is a first down. Timeout situation. Bowling Green has 1 remaining in the first half. Eastern has 2. From the shotgun, Daggy to throw. Outside receiver Morris. Couple of yards after catch. Good for a first down as they approach midfield.
You're going to do it on first down again. Keep giving it to him on the outside. If Eastern Kentucky's defender is going to play off them 10 yards, let them do that stop route at 5, and that's like stealing.
You, as an outstanding quarterback at Marshall, would recognize that too with some of your receivers.
We've run a hitch pass many times like that. Take advantage of it.
This time Claire straight ahead. Falcons 0-2 on the season. Eastern Kentucky 1-1.
Here's the difference right there. The run on first down versus the pass. Only picks up a yard or 2. Now it kind of dictates what's going on. They'll see if they go to the quick pass here to try to make it 3rd and really manageable for it, 3rd and short.
Eastern Kentucky in 2 games, John, very good against the run. 20th in the country, allowing less than 100. Been strong again so far today. 2nd and 8. Another inside handoff. Again, not much available there.
Bunch of bodies, nowhere to go. No push by the offensive line there. So now you're definitely have to throw the football here. Let's see if they're able to protect and give Daggy time to get it down the field.
Rico Fry picking up a couple on the play. 3rd and 6. Morris is on the near side.
And he's got man-to-man coverage too. I'm looking for him right now. If I'm a quarterback, he's locked on down at the bottom of your screen.
No Scott Miller today. One of the best receivers in the country due to a hamstring injury. Here comes the blitz. Daggy picks it up. He's got a man. Incomplete down to the 10-yard line. But a flag. And that should be a pretty obvious pass interference, but by Floyd doing that, he prevented a touchdown.
Yep, Daggy went to
Pass interference, defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, includes automatic first down.
Gotta ask you, John, in the NFL, that's a spot foul. Should it be that way in college?
I don't think so. I like the rule 15 yards here. As you can see, kind of underthrown a bit, and that because of that, Bascom comes up and interferes with the chance to catch the football. But that time Daggy had both guys man-to-man on the outside. I was thinking go to the short side of the field to your tall receiver. He went with the space to the high side. Not a bad choice. There wasn't a wrong choice there. Just make sure you go to one of those outside guys.
So I couldn't get you to bite on the rules here, huh?
No.
Illegal substitution, defense, too many players on the field. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
You know, I try my best during the Little League World Series and college football. Nothing changes, you know. You true to form and true to your values.
I'll drive home tonight 10-2. Hands on the wheel.
It's not a 1-loss record, by the way. That's the good driving technique.
Yes, yeah.
1st and 5 after the penalty. Bowling Green inside the 35. Daggy intended for Morris. And one of the few times today they have not been on the same wavelength.
And probably a good thing that time for Morris, because Steven Crowder, the middle linebacker, number 40, was looking right at him. He was going to hit him in the chest if he caught the football that time.
And Crowder's a strong, powerful kid, sophomore from Mount Olive, Alabama, at 6'2" and 233. So you don't want to get in the way of him. 2nd and 5. Score tie with 2:47 to go. 1 timeout remaining for the Falcons in the first half. Claire has got an opening. And then gets swallowed up. Ball loose, picked up by Eastern Kentucky. But he was ruled down.
There's Crowder in the picture again, involved in that. Outside handoff. We've been watching Bowling Green hand the ball off a lot to the inside. That was the first time we've seen him try to go outside the end. Keep in mind, this Bowling Green team, as you see the run to the outside, Crowder just kind of corralling him. Ball was sliding out again. Better snap the football.
3rd down. Claire straight ahead into the 2nd line of defense for the first down. They'll spot him at the 15-yard line, a pickup of 11.
Jim, I was going to say that, keep in mind, Bowling Green is without their tight ends too, so they're having to try to manufacture a run game and a pass game, of course, without your 2 top guys that you need in there at the tight end position.
Eastern Kentucky, in the meantime, John had to substitute quickly. Bowling Green going fast to Claire again. Diving straight forward, close to the 10-yard line. John, if you're Eastern Kentucky, what about using your timeouts here? If you're the Colonels, you have 2 timeouts left. Why not try to get the football back, assuming Bowling Green will get points out of this drive? 11th play of the drive. Game tied at 21. Claire being stood up. Check that. Denley. Bryson Denley, the ball carrier. Now the 3rd down. Eastern Kentucky allowing the clock to go, will not use a timeout. And so if you're the Falcons, you're in no hurry to get the ball back to them, certainly.
I'm looking again at the matchups to the outside. Pudavong, another tall receiver at 6'5" to the top.
Daggy looking for an outside receiver's got him. Touchdown! 13 yards, and the Falcons with 45 seconds to go in the first half take the lead, and I think you called that properly.
Yeah, it's nice to see up here. From a quarterback perspective, you wish you could stand up here and just pick guys out, but you could see the matchup on the outside, one-on-one with Pudavong again. Once he gets the ball in his hand at 6'5", he's pretty athletic. He'll go up and get the football, but that time jukes the defender and scores the touchdown.
Matched up principally against corners that stand 5'11" or smaller. Still, the touchdown gives Eastern Kentucky 45 seconds and 2 timeouts with which to work.
Daggy, good choice here. He's honed on him from the very snap of the football. He knew he was going pre-snap read. He knew he was going to him on the outside. Good throw, nice catch into the end zone for the touchdown.
I think you asked the coaches during the week about receivers getting opportunities, and Pudavong's name was certainly mentioned with Scott Miller being injured, and earlier this season Julian Ortega-Jones out with an ACL that was messed up in fall practice. So we've seen a lot about R.B. Marlowe today, a little bit of Noah Massey, and a lot of Quentin Morris and Derek Pudavong.
Yeah, they are spreading it around. This is a pretty dangerous wide receiver group. If this offensive line could give Daggy time like that to throw the football, they can push it down here. And right now, as I said before, Eastern Kentucky's cornerbacks are playing at least 10 yards off the ball. That's giving them time to throw it to those outside receivers. I would continue to do that if I'm Bowling Green, to try to move the ball down the field.
Well, if you're Mike Jinks and Bowling Green, if you can't stop them, you're going to have to try to score about every possession, and that's what the Falcons have been doing as of late after being stymied early in this game. Still, the Colonels have time, and they get the football to start the second half. Let's see if they decide to be aggressive. Scott at the 1-yard line makes a man miss to the 20. Now, he could have called for a fair catch too, which would have brought the football at the 25 and maybe saved just a little bit of time. As 41, Romeo Manuku up there to make the stop. Let's see how the Colonels decide to play it with 2 timeouts in reserve and the football at the 19.
Now, based off where the ball is now, I'm pretty sure they're just going to kind of regroup, try to take their team back into the locker room here, just down 7 at the half.
Of course, the way they run the football, they could get a big play just on that, as they did with McCluskey moments ago. But they're okay with being conservative, knowing full well they will get the ball to start the second half. And to this point, this offense has not been stopped. Now 20 seconds to go. And down to 15.
Now still running the football. Just think, like you said, maybe try to break one. Trying to be conservative down here in their own side of the field before the end of this first half.
Isn't it interesting? We call that conservative, which is right, but it's been the rushing attack that's been so dangerous against Bowling Green this year. But I see your point. 15 to go, still 2 timeouts in the bank. Football at the 29. Allen wants to throw, looking down the middle of the field. Throws it down the sidelines, and the ball is caught. The question is it in bounds? Side judge will huddle with the head linesman. Jalen Carter stretching out, and a catch of 40.
What a catch by Carter. Let's see if he gets his feet in bounds here. I don't think they may review this really quick, because I think he landed out of bounds, and they're going to stop it here and take a look at it, I believe.
What a catch, though, huh?
What an effort, yes. But I don't think he got a foot down. It looked like his first part.
Ruling on the previous play of a catch in bounds is under further review.
So do you think this was the plan of the Colonels? Run a couple of plays, maybe get a first down, give the impression that you're going to sit on the ball, and then go upstairs.
Yeah, I think that's an MO of a lot of offenses at the end of that half. You'll run a couple. If you pop one and get away from your goal line a bit, maybe you're willing to take the ball and throw it down the field, and that's not bad. But how about that effort on that catch here? Is take a look and see if any part of his body comes down in the green, but it looks like his thigh hit out of bounds.
In the last couple of weeks, you have been nearly flawless on replay, being able to come up with your own ruling, so we'll see if that magic continues. Jalen Carter, the only receiver.
Yeah, the only question is his foot still making contact when the ball is in his hands? I don't know if he's possessed the football yet.
Being defended by Clint Stevens. The two officials huddled on the play.
Review, the ruling on the field of a catch stands. First down, Eastern Kentucky.
Wow. Pickup of 40. Now with 8 seconds to go. And the football at the 33, you can take a shot right here to the end zone.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've got to do that now. You get guys down there. So 4 wide receivers in here. We'll see what Bowling Green does. They're going to rush 4 right now and drop everybody back.
Could also run the ball and set up a manageable field goal. Right now it would be 50 yards away. 8 seconds remaining, still timeouts to use. Allen, time off the clock, shooting one down the field. Penalty flag on the play with 2 seconds to go. If that's pass interference.
And it's going to be on Clint Stevens.
That's going to move it up 15 yards.
They're going to get holding on the defensive side, and now they're going to be in field goal range.
And time for just one play.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense, number 2, 10-yard penalty, first down.
5-yard difference between pass interference and holding. Nonetheless, with the timeout being called, now a manageable field goal is Morris and Paul as the outside receivers, and Paul being held. And it looks like he was being held by Brandon Harris. So now the spot is to the 23, and that gives Eastern, unless it takes a shot at the end zone, a 40-yard attempt.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're. And now they do have their kicker out on the field, so not sure if he's going to attempt this or not. 0 for 1 so far on the year of plus 40 yards.
Samuel Hayworth's longest is 38. That was last week, or the week before, rather, against Morehead State. But what a drive when it appeared that Eastern would eat the football. Now a chance to put 3 on the board and get the football to start the second half.
Yeah. Or you just can't let your guard down for 1 second.
No, sir. The left hash, an attempt of 40. From the end zone, your view. Got distance. No good. Nice looking drive results in no points. In a first half that took 1 hour and 45 minutes. We have finally reached halftime. That little flyover to get it started, that was a sign of action to come, and plenty of it. Blair has a touchdown in the game, and each team has done a little bit of magic on returns and passes, and McCleskey's 68-yard run. Take a look at the unsung heroes at halftime on the Capital One half. Bowling Green Falcons very good at forcing turnovers last season. Get a little help from Smith muffing this one. That eventually led to a Falcon touchdown as Nagy able to team up this one. Right corner, Quentin Morris with a catch. And then off the fumble here, Jerry McBride. Jolly on the spot, recognizing that it was necessary to bring it back. Did for 40 yards, setting up the run, the short one by Claire. And that's why we have a 28-21 difference at halftime. Bowling Green now a +2 on the season in turnovers that they've been able to accomplish as opposed to turnovers the offense has committed. So Mike Jink's team now trying to shore up the defense. As Carl Pelini's group allowed 285 on 30 carries in the first half, and Eastern likely to go back to the run again, as if that's a big secret. Most of the kickoffs have been headed toward the end zone. This one Didn't quite make it, and that'll be a penalty flag on Bowling Green, in good field position for Eastern Kentucky to start the second half.
Well, let's see if Bowling Green can kind of flip the script this week. The first two.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball will be placed to the 35-yard line. First down.
First 2 weeks of the season, very good first half. Weren't so successful in the second half. Let's see if this week they can turn that around and play some really good defense here in the second half and kind of try to pull away if they can.
Dakota Allen in the first half had to throw the ball just 4 times for 68 yards. He rushed for 75 and a touchdown. FCS team that'll face powerful Jacksonville State at home later in this season. That's Alonzo Booth, and for one of the few times today, Bowling Green has had a defensive answer.
Well, they did, and the answer is good. 239 pounds, Alonzo Booth, they're in there. You just wonder, is he in there to try to wear these guys down early and then bring the speed backs in a little bit after that?
Back to Booth again, running wide, now cutting up, and a modest gain on that play as well, setting up a 3rd and 7. 55, Colby Coleman out of a hotbed for football, Hoover, Alabama, up to make the tackle.
The coaches told us it starts with Coleman. He's the guy at that Mike linebacker position. He's got to be the playmaker on this defense.
Need to pick up 7. Time for Allen, now throwing. Incomplete at the 40-yard line. Not sure what Allen is complaining about, but he thought there should have been a penalty on the play.
Now, all that complaining is not going to help you. You got to turn around and get over to the sideline, because Harper, the defensive end that time, number 50, Jonah Harper, was in his face and forced him to throw that football. And a big win for Bowling Green's defense to get off here 3 and out.
Yeah, especially when the opposition, which won the toss and deferred, unable to do something with the football to start the second half. Philip Richards back to punt. And Marcus Milton back to catch. Waving his hand up in the air. Penalty flag on the play as the ball goes out of bounds. We'll see where the spot is at. Looks like it's the 25. It's a punt of 36.
Holding receiving team during the kick. Number 37. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
Some Melvin Jackson that'll move the ball back 10. So this drive now will start from the Bowling Green 15, but hats off to the defense, which makes a stand.
Yep. And you think maybe you can get some good field position, then you get a mistake on special teams there that puts your offense back on the 15-yard line. But you're right, that was a good start for the Bowling Green defense, and getting off the field in a hurry. You felt like that momentum switched a little bit in that first half, and Bowling Green started to get the big mo behind them.
Jarrett Dagy's numbers today against the Ducks of Oregon: 22 of 38 for 253 and 3 touchdowns in a game which Bowling Green had the lead early in the game. Dagy to the flat, man wide open, 25-yard line, and then some with a few yards after the catch. So Noah Massey with his first catch of the game. Big, long, athletic player.
Yep, just a true freshman too. Averaged over 22 yards a catch in high school, and like what they did there, that time they sent their outside receivers deep, driving off those cornerbacks, and had the inside receivers break out for that completion.
A carry of 12. After the carry by Andrew Clare, brings us to a 2nd and 8. Bowling Green with just 6 wins in 2+ seasons. Badly in need of one here, with Miami of Ohio coming up next week to open the MAC. And then on to Georgia Tech and Toledo, which will hardly be easy.
Yep, and electing to run it on first down again and just picking up that 1 yard. They've had a lot of success throwing the ball on first down.
Now they'll throw on 2nd, and on the outside, this Eastern Kentucky defense was waiting on the catch by number 18, Derek Pudavong, who already has a touchdown reception. Again, Bowling Green operating without Scott Miller. How do you think they've done so far?
Well, they've got some receivers out there, and every time they seem to throw the ball, they're having success. And you know you want to be able to run the football, but if you can't do it, take advantage of what that defense is giving you. Right now, they're able to throw the football.
Udavag may have had to leave the game because of some equipment malfunction. At least I believe that's the number. It's been called out. Now third down, here comes the blitz. Dagey in trouble, gets rid of it. Popped up in the air. And is it picked off? Yes! Number 40, Steven Crowder. His first pick of the season and Bowling Green's first turnover of the game.
Boy, what a gift that was from Dagey. For the second time in this football game, he's thrown the ball back over the middle, going to the right. And of course, you hear it week after week, never throw the ball back over the middle. Well, there's a reason why right there. That's an athletic play by a very athletic linebacker that we've mentioned a few times in Steven Crowder.
A couple of times under pressure, Dagey has tried to dump it off to Claire, and that's been dangerous.
Yeah, no question. That was the second time he basically did the same thing. We said not a good idea the first time, and that's why.
Eastern Kentucky into plus territory. Running on first down as it's run so effective in this game. Jason Lewis getting a chance there. Out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Arizona State transfer, a bunch of transfers on this Eastern Kentucky team, which as you go from FBS to FCS allows you to play quickly. 2nd and 4, the Colonels approaching 300 yards rushing. Quarterback keep. And pushed out of bounds Alfonso Howard, but not before he picks up a first down. He is the premier running quarterback on this team, and he was used in the first half as he is now in the second.
Yep, just one series in that first half. It didn't go really well, so they stayed with Dakota Allen, but immediately made the change here. And Howard, as I said last week against Marshall, really lit a fire under this team during the second half.
He did. Eastern Kentucky now into the red zone. And Lewis down to the 10. So Eastern Kentucky trying to return the favor on turnovers, namely to put turnovers into points, as Bowling Green did in the first half. 2nd and 7. Now 3rd and short. So we've seen a dose of Lewis today, LJ Scott, Darryl McCluskey, Alonzo Booth, even some Ralph Patton. I'm not sure they have any more running backs, but that's a bunch.
I say a bevy of backs.
Yeah.
And big guys as well, too. Booth, you're talking about over 230 pounds.
Need to pick up 4. McCluskey in motion. Quarterback keep. Howard straight ahead. Touchdown. Alfonso Howard. Man, they love this kid.
Yep. And you can see why. Just his ability to make people miss in the open field. He's not going to throw the football like Dakota Allen. And Allen's been a pretty good runner for this team today, but he gives him just that little look, a little bit more shifty right there. And once he gets in that open space, tough to bring him down.
His first touchdown of the season. Now Samuel Hayworth to try to tie the game. Each team now with 4 scores, and it was the pickoff by the linebacker Steven Crowder, John, that set this drive up.
Yeah, never throw the ball back over there. That's what's going to happen to you. And Eastern Kentucky crawls right back into this thing.
Young guy with a headset who I think will be carded when he gets into bar situations for the next 30 years. He looks so young. His offensive coordinator, Angelo Mirando, whose team today has rushed the football for 320. It's already better than its season average last year per game, which was 7th best in FCS in the country.
As we mentioned before, they were 8th in the country coming into this football game, so or 7th in the FCS, but this team can really move 400 yards against Morehead State in game 1.
This is returnable from about the 1-yard line. And Bowling Green will start inside its own 20. So Marlowe with a return. And a pretty good special team stick by 59 Quint Floyd, who he wasn't done tackling on the sidelines, was he?
Sometimes I think there's, that's where the injuries come from. They get so excited they come off there. They're still trying to regain their composure after the hard hit, and then guys are hitting them upside the head.
Jared Dagey, 15 of 24 for 140. He's a high school quarterback at Cooper High in Lubbock, Texas. Threw for 33 touchdowns in 2016 and 3,363 yards. And of course, his older brother is a part of this staff. And that's Seth Dagey. He was a star quarterback at Texas Tech.
I'm sure he had a talk with him in regards to throwing that ball back there. Sometimes you just have to throw it away, and he forced it in there. Was lucky the first time and not that time, but I think they need to continue to push the ball up the field. That's where they're having that success.
Two coordinators on this team offensively, Kevin Kilmore and Andy Padron. They're good friends. We asked them as they're up in the booth, did they ever argue? Whoever gets to make the call, Padron has the final word. And in fact, no, and they're good golf buddies. And you posed the question, how's the golf game going? Because you like to ask the hard-hitting questions, and they said it's about even.
Well, once they brought it up, I thought that opened it up for questioning who was better, and they said they're about even. So
just dove right in there, didn't you?
Yeah.
3rd and 4. Dagey to throw. Stepping up, dumps it off, incomplete. And now Bowling Green must give up the balls. The momentum starts to turn in the hands of Eastern Kentucky, intended for Justin Sawmiller. And a lot of high hopes on him. He's a 6-foot receiver, 5th-year senior out of Kenton, Ohio. Can play the slot and other positions.
And that's not what you want to see if you're a Bowling Green fan, because this is where the defense has to get back on the field without much rest, because you want to get at least 2 first downs to move that clock and sustain the drive a bit.
No fair catch. This one buffed as well by Smith, but he's able to get it back. And he gets smothered then after a pickup of a couple of yards. Penalty flag on the play with 8:47 remaining in the 3rd quarter. But whatever it is, it's been picked up. So we'll play on with the game tied. Eastern Kentucky with the football out of Richmond, Kentucky. A couple hours away from Louisville. And back to the run, which has been lethal against Bowling Green. It really doesn't matter who carries the ball as Ralph Patton gets a look there. They've been gashing this Bowling Green defense. Well, if you're Carl Pelini and Mike Jinks, how do you solve this problem?
Yeah, I don't know. And now they're back with Dakota Allen at quarterback.
Allen making a man miss, now running for his life, and brought down. Spot back at the 36-yard line. So you go from a 2nd and short now to a 3rd and 7.
Ball fake there. They wanted to get the ball into the wide side of the field, and you're not going to get help back there if you're a quarterback, Dakota Allen. You got to realize you got to keep rolling to that right-hand side. You're going to get pursuit from the back, and that was happening. And he took the loss on the play.
Curious call too when you're running the ball so well.
Well, that's the thing Allen gives you at that quarterback position, the ability to roll out like that and give you that run-pass option to the outside.
Now he needs to pick up 7, trying to set up the screen. That was a quick toss to Scott, incomplete, and now ball is going back. Even though there's a flag on the play, we'll go back to Bowling Green. That's a penalty against Eastern Kentucky, will be declined.
Illegal formation, offense, number 73, was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Excuse me, penalty is declined.
So both offenses, at least for the moment, have stalled.
Yep. get away from what you do best, and sometimes that happens to you. That was Graham Ashkettle, the right tackle, number 73. He was in the backfield, not lined up on the line of scrimmage. He's the backup right tackle. Got to get up there on the line, and too many guys in the backfield created that penalty.
Look at Carl Pelini, part of the Nebraska lore with Bo Pelini and also Youngstown State, a team that reached the final game a couple of years ago. Rugby style kick, which is very hard sometimes to catch. This one, though, on a fair catch, is made at the 30 by Marcus Milton. 7.5 to go in the third, tied at 28. Look at the Falcons sidelines in a 28-28 game. Game 3 of the college football season. Jim Barber, John Gregory. No team able to get much separation in this game, although it started off that way with the Colonels up 14-0. Right now they're on defense in the white, with the yellow, or rather the orange helmets, ready to go to work as Bowling Green on offense with quarterback Jarrett Dagey. Dagey, where he's been most of the day, in the shotgun. Handing off to Clare on first down. Picks up close to 5. Just trying to get Clare loose on a rushing attack that's been averaging, John, just barely 3 yards per carry.
Yeah, they haven't been able to get the big play on the ground. Going to get motion against Bowling Green just when they get something positive.
Ball start. Offense, number 18. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It's on the wide receiver, Derek Pudavon, and each team now with 5 penalties in the game.
I don't know if that was caused by just the tempo there, and Pudavon looking over to his sideline saying, my fault, I didn't get set out here at that wide receiver position when we were going up tempo.
Again, a Mid-American Conference officiating crew. Second and 10, rushing 4, dropping 7 to the outside. Short of the first down to R.B. Marlowe, but sets up a third and manageable, 3rd and 5. He's one of the faster players on this team.
Ran the same play they started this second half, again running Morris off and allowing Massey, the inside receiver, to break out to the outside. You can see the strength in Dagey's arm. He's got the ability to throw the football down the field and push it up the field. Elected to throw a lot of shorter passes.
Falcons much better on third down today than regular season, 7-12, but not this time. Curious call on third down. Caught nobody in the defense by surprise, and now they'll have to give up the ball. So now it becomes a punt fest here in the third quarter, as opposed to the high-octane offense we saw from both teams for the most part.
Couldn't see up front. Nakia Smith and Leonard Humphrey look like the 2 defenders there. Nowhere to run with the football, and got to find a way to run it, even on third down.
Grant Tinnerman, a beauty of a punt. The only problem is it goes out of bounds, and that'll depend now on the spot. Spot will be at the 30. As it turns out, just 35 yards, and EKU running backs have been outstanding. Daryl McCleskey Jr., by the way, comes from a family of several brothers, all with the first initial of D. So Dad Daryl and Mom Antoinette have named their sons well, and one daughter, by the way. McCleskey leading the gang right now with that 68-yard touchdown run. EKU now back on offense. Allen, the quarterback. And you know, the way they're getting surges on first down, I know you have to keep defenses honest as Patton carries, but why break away from this?
Yeah, and maybe they don't. Now, you know, they get to the sideline, you think, you go in there at halftime and you think, okay, now we've got them here, let's try this. And if it doesn't work, you go right back to bread and butter. It's running the football. Kyle Jr., again, number 93, got his arm on the running back in the backfield, but no help there, and able to break that first tackle.
There was once a New York Times best-selling book called "If It Ain't Broke, Don't Break It." Ball loose on the field. Bowling Green says it has it. And another Eastern Kentucky turnover. This in the hands of Colby Coleman. That's 3 now for the game. Another forced fumble. Bowling Green has forced 5. Mark Elder is disgruntled by it. Now forcing 5 on the year for a team that was in the top 4 last year in forced fumbles, John. It's what they do.
Yep. You got to hold on to the football all the way to the end here. He was driving and trying to, it's the extra effort he was trying to give there, but the ball pops out. Let's see if his knee's down beforehand. Tough to see when it comes out, but his knee never hit the ground there. He kept driving with those legs, and because of that, somebody will be able to get in there late and get that football out.
How many times do you see a runner with that second effort commit that turnover? But how do you chastise that? Because, you know, that's the nature of competitive sports, is get as much as you can, as this play is under review. And Mark Elder now will look to the replay heavens, headed up by Nick Baniel, to figure out, in fact, if it's the 3rd turnover of the game.
I tell you, it does make it a little bit better in the film room tomorrow when you start looking at this at a player with your coach, and it's harder for him to get on you when you're making that 2nd and 3rd effort like he was giving there.
Well, it certainly appears that Eastern Kentucky is ready to go on defense, but we'll find out if that call on the field is confirmed.
And I don't know if there's enough evidence to overturn this again.
Takes irreversible evidence to do just that.
After further review, the ruling of a fumble and recovery by the defense stands. First down, Bowling Green.
These turnovers have come in position to set up Bowling Green in plus territory, so that's been significant as well. Already 14 points off of Eastern Kentucky turnovers. That one committed by Ralph Patton, who gets a pat on the helmet, encouraging him to hang in there.
Let's see if Bowling Green goes up top here to try to score quickly after the turnover.
Play action, doing just that over the middle. Ball caught, nice reception, first down to the 28. Bryson Denley, his first reception of the game.
Just 1 catch on the year for Denley coming into this football game. I think if Daggy puts a little air underneath that ball, there's a chance for a touchdown.
Wants to throw again, this one out of the backfield, and there's nothing available. Catch made by Denley. Trying to come back. Bryson on the 2nd throw of this drive, and no gain. 4 minutes to go, 3rd quarter, tied at 28 on a late afternoon, late summer day here in Northwest Ohio, where there was band day and had over 1,100 participants on hand for that. Couldn't have picked a better weather day. It's been Denley and Clare, number 1, as principal ball carriers today. That's Andrew there with the rush.
Boy, he hits the hole really hard and quick.
He does. Transfer from St. Louis University, out of St. Louis Mo. Movement on the front line. Daggy says, I've got a free play. And the man! Touchdown! 2nd catch of the game for Derek Pudavon. From 22 yards. Let's see if it stands. It apparently does.
Pudavon got caught.
Offside defense, 70. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
John, you brought it up earlier last week. Problems in Eastern Kentucky's game against Marshall about jumping off sides on 3rd down. And what happens there is obviously the penalty's not going to be accepted, but the quarterback recognizes I've got a free play.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? No pressure on him.
Nope.
So just throw a strike to your wide receiver. And that's what happened. That's the 4th touchdown in 2 games.
Fumble snap. And the extra point denied. That could be significant as we get down the stretch. As you know, a live ball is returnable for 2 points. That won't happen here as the play was called dead. But Derek Pudavon having a huge afternoon. Had a touchdown coming in. He's got 2 as it replaced John, the lapse or the lack of position today by Scott Miller. Coordinators in the booth say, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. John, you and I both have daughters. How about this picture, huh?
Brings back the days.
It sure does.
Oh, boy.
And now some of the college kids appropriately dressed here on a late summer day, or not. Fun football game. Not a lot of flow at times, and it hasn't been clean either.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering what this crowd, great support here today with the U. Miami not far away today. If that it's going to take away some of these fans going down here to watch Toledo and Miami go at it this morning.
Sellout crowd at the Glass Bowl, in a game that was won easily by Miami with a great second half. Mike Jinks will see Toledo later in the season. Right now he's worried about Eastern. And let's see if the muffed extra point matters. Instead of a 7-point lead, it's 6, and this is returnable. It depended primarily on Scott returning the football in this game. And this return is going to be big. Scott near midfield. L.J. Scott with a return of 45. And here comes Eastern.
L.J. Scott, Phil Steele had him as a preseason All-American kick returner. Last year he averaged over 30 yards per return and gets more than that here.
So with that great return, football at the 49. Touchdown to tie and an extra point after that for the lead. Back to the run game. And Darryl McCleskey, who has that 68-yard run for score. Like to move him around a lot. We have seen him in the slot position, sometimes flanked as a receiver.
Yeah, they'll run that jet sweep with him, and then they'll hand it to him inside. He's just so shifty, and that's what they said. He's just got great burst is how the coaches described it.
So Alex Cabrera in your picture moments ago, one of the receivers. Again, McCleskey, another first down, and into that again, second line of defense inside the 35.
Good blocking on that right side of the line. Opening that up. Thomas Tabor, Justin Miles, right guard, right tackle there. Giving room for that running back to get to the outside.
So for the third consecutive week, a Bowling Green opponent has had a field day running the football. 1st and 10 from the BG 34. Why not keep it the same thing in McCleskey? Another strong gain on first down. This one good for close to 7.
Good pursuit by Bowling Green. It seemed like there were a lot of brown shirts around that, but just nobody making the tackle.
Now Allen in trouble, and he will get rid of it.
Boy, how about the block by McCleskey here? We've talked about his ability to run the football. Sometimes you have to protect your quarterback too, and McCleskey gives his body up as they were sending a blitzer from that side and allowed his quarterback to step up and throw the ball away, save a down.
Unofficially 356 running the football. Total of yards so far for Eastern Kentucky on a 3rd and 3. You know, John, the way they're running the football, it could be like 4-down territory.
Yeah, no question.
You need, what, 2 rushes for 3 yards?
Yep.
Shouldn't be a problem.
And that's exactly what that was. They knew they were going to go for it on 4th down, so they hand it off to McCleskey, and he comes up 1 yard, 2 yards short.
Here's the run for the first down. It'll go to the end zone. Darryl McCleskey, touchdown.
Well, I think he went through that hole, was not even touched that time as Eastern Kentucky quickly got to the line of scrimmage, and anytime they get a first down or fourth down, these teams run up tempo. If you're not ready defensively, they're going to gash you, and that's what happened there. Not even ready for it.
Yeah, good point. 142 on the ground for McCluskey, 3 scores. This is for the lead. Sam Hayworth. 35-34 Eastern Kentucky. So somewhere the brothers Danye, David, Devontae, and Darian and sister Destiny are more than pleased with Daryl Dwayne McCluskey's effort. And Mark Elder's team has gone up by 1 with 91 seconds remaining in a most entertaining football game.
Now, that was a lot of D's right there, but
yeah,
really no D for Bowling Green.
Well done, John, and agreed, by the way. 6 plays, 51 yards for the game now. Eastern Kentucky approaching 400 yards rushing. And Mark Elder trying to bring the magic back at Eastern Kentucky. A record of 8-16 into his 3rd season. Finds his team up by 1. Hardly a safe lead at this point. We've been paying any attention to this game.
Now you go back to what you said there, that missed extra point play. Eastern Kentucky now going up by 1 point. Is that going to be the one factor in this game, that one mistake that you make on special teams?
R.B. Marlowe is going to try. And didn't make it to the 20. So the problem now is Bowling Green in poor field position to start this drive and down by a point. Good defensive play on special teams by Dawson Fitzpatrick, number 27, out of Akron, Ohio. Well, if you're a Bowling Green fan, I can tell you this much: the games this year will not be boring. The problem is being able to stop somebody. On the delay, Claire breaks a tackle and high steps his way for a first down and a pickup 11.
Well, we've seen that play work a couple times tonight for Bowling Green. Looks like Daigie's just going to throw the ball down the field, kind of standing there, and hands it off to Claire on the delayed draw. Picked up big yardage.
22 carries now for Claire for 86. Penalty flag on the play. As he stumbles his way up to the 33, the line judge threw the flag. Kurt Johnson, our referee. Roger Day, our umpire. Head linesman is Chris Van Meter.
Formation, offense. More than 4 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Arthur Lucky is the side judge. Darren Haas, the center judge. Line judge is Dorsey Skinner. Phil Hicks, the field judge. The back judge is Rick Fonenstock. All Mid-American Conference officials. So 1st and 15 as we wind down the 3rd quarter. Rico Fry getting his 2nd carry of the game.
Gavin Bryant, the linebacker, number 8. He's the leading returning tackler on this team. He came up, made a big pop on that one. Bowling Green's offense moving the chains again, and then that mistake, too many men in the backfield.
Daggy to the flat. Got a man wide open. That's Morris. Quentin Morris with the reception close to the 40-yard line.
Boy, easy throw. It seems like every time they go to the outside like that, it's not a problem with the reception.
Well, you like the outside throw and the vertical throw to Morris and Budavong, right?
Yeah, push him back. Yeah, you got 2 talented guys on the outside. Why not give them the opportunity?
Ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We still have a quarter to go. And we can promise you this much. The unexpected likely still to happen. Eastern 35, Bowling Green 34 on ESPN. Bowling Green wide receiver coach Seth Dagey, the brother of the starting quarterback Jarrett. His career at Texas Tech was terrific. 69% completion percentage, over 8,600 yards, 69 scores, 4th in program history. I think he looks a little like Aaron Rodgers of Green Bay. What do you think? Just a little, maybe.
And he did behind the center, too. Yeah, those are some really good numbers there. But that gives somebody that Jared can talk to in the evening, and I'm sure they talk a lot and break down film. But nice to have that guy to be able to lean on.
When play resumes as we start the 4th quarter, Bowling Green is at its own 40. Jarrett today 20 for 30, 191 and 3 scores. He's now thrown for 8 touchdowns on the season, 4 picks. Good to have you with us wherever you're being entertained today. The game that started way back at 4 o'clock. Broken tackles. Almost looked like the Eastern Kentucky offense on that. As Fry getting an opportunity now, as Claire has seen the brunt of the work, but Fry able to pick up on 1st down 10.
Yeah, there's some fresh legs in there. You could see them churning.
Fry now back to block. Pass out to the flat caught. R.B. Marlowe with a catch. Marlowe now 5 receptions on the game.
5 catches, had 1 coming into this game. You had mentioned that earlier today. Guy that transferred from the College of Canyons getting some extensive playing time.
Well, with no Scott Miller, who was a game time decision, came out, caught some passes, wasn't good to go on a hamstring. They've had to rely on a lot of other people in terms of receivers today, and for the most part have done a pretty strong job. Now the football inside the 40 of Eastern Kentucky. Another inside handoff and a lot of room to run for Fry, who carries for another 1st down.
And another delayed draw that time. 3 wide receivers to the wide side of the field. Dagey takes the snap and just looks that direction and gets the linebackers to vacate that area. Offensive line doing a nice job open up the hole. Watch how he looks to the right and then comes back through. You can see the lineman can go downfield, of course, because if it's a run and you get that center on a linebacker, you need 1 block there to be able to pick up that yardage. Well-designed play.
Got an injured player as Comstock is down for the defense right now. And we'll take a break as he tries to heal up. Moments into the 4th quarter. At stake today for Dagey and Bowling Green, first victory of the year. And a win that wasn't accomplished last year against an FCS school. When play resumes, football at the 28-yard line of Eastern Kentucky. Jarrett has thrown for 3 touchdowns today. Plenty of time on the play clock. You see on our graphic 15 seconds. To the flat. And Pudavong. Ball loose and picked up. So many times today that Bowling Green has done that. But in the case of Eastern Kentucky, Elijah Taylor returns the favor.
Elijah Taylor, he's a transfer from Notre Dame. I bet you there he never got the opportunity to run up the sideline with this, and
probably not.
This is going to be called back, maybe. It looked like the ground caused that fumble there. Wouldn't be surprised at all. And there's the whistle.
And Nick Baniel up in the replay booth with yet another important look.
The ruling on the field of a fumble and recovery by the defense is under further review.
But both defenses react the way they're supposed to, which is scoop and try to score.
Oh, absolutely. Everything right there, but I think this is going to be called back. It looks like his back of his hand makes contact with the ground before the ball comes out.
Just past the 7 o'clock hour of the Eastern time zone. And the game approaching 3 hours. And we thought our stay at Louisville last Saturday night was long due to weather delays. You think this is pretty obvious?
Well, right. Well,
Ground cannot cause a fumble. Of course, just about everybody who watches college football knows that. Same in pro football. But Elijah looked like a running back there.
Fleetfoot up the sideline.
This is taking a little time nonetheless.
I think right now what they're doing is checking the yardage, where the ball was, where he will be down. That's what he's talking to the back judge right now. He's writing it down so they can take the ball back the other direction. Big smile on his face, but little does he know, I'm thinking this is going the other way.
Well, let's find out for sure.
After further review, the runner's elbow was down with control of the ball. The runner is down. It'll be 1st and 8 at the 26-yard line. Number 2 from Bowling Green must leave the game for 1 play because his helmet came off during the play.
That's the cornerback, Clint Stevens. Well, still a little bit of enjoyment there by Elijah Taylor, and why not? Excuse me, make that Jared Dagey is out for Bowling Green. And that means Grant Loy, the backup quarterback's got to return now, or will come into the game. If that had been deliberate, Dagey could have remained.
Bowling Green could take a timeout and get him in there, so
I don't know if I would waste one here, would you?
No, exactly. You just important down though. I mean, you're second and 8 right here.
Field goal would give Bowling Green the lead again. Loy saw some third quarter action last week. He's going to roll out and throw. How about this? Got a man wide open. That would have been a touchdown. Bryson Denley was released, and nobody picked him up.
What a great call in that situation. You had time to set it all up as they were reviewing the fumble, and then you get your backup quarterback in there. I would have never considered that. Would have fooled me if I was a defensive coach on that side. I think he's in there to hand the football off, and moment right there just happened too quick for him as he overthrows that football.
Pretty creative call by Padron and Kilmer, the offensive coordinators. Jared Dagey is back on 3rd and 8. From the 26, stepping up over the middle, caught. This could go big. Down to the 12-yard line. Well, you put Pudavong as an outside receiver, and he does things. As he gets 14, and now just on a short catch and run, but there's a flag at the 20. And Bowling Green is making a walk back.
Pass interference, offense, number 5. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, 3rd down.
On the freshman Noah Massey. Not only does the penalty prevent a big gain into the red zone, it now pushes Bowling Green back beyond the 40 and well out of field goal range.
Wow. Massey, the true freshman there with the pass interference. Couldn't see it. We were looking at Pudavong coming across from the other side of the field, a long developing play, and Dagey was able to finally get it to him as he was crossing the field.
See if they try to make up half the distance and attempt a field goal. They'll run the football. Nothing happening there. What about that call, John?
Well, you know, they've got everybody back. Eastern Kentucky had everybody back. Of course, 3rd and 25 yards or 20 to 25 yards there. So handing it off, as you said, maybe just try to break something and get yourself in a position. Now they're going to go for it here on 4th down.
I thought maybe they'd try to have it, cut it in half, and then set up a long field goal. This could be also a punt here coming from the 39, and in fact it will be by Dagey. It will bounce at the 10 and be down at the 9. Bowling Green had a great scoring opportunity, but comes away with nothing with 12 minutes to go in the game and trailing by 1.
So Bowling Green has played 2 Power 5 teams, and coming to this drive right here, I think this may be the most important defensive stand for them so far in the first 3 games.
Really? Why is that?
Yeah, 4th quarter here. If Bowling Green gives up a long drive here and they eat up a bunch of time on this clock, I think that could be devastating for this team. So I think this is a very important drive for Eastern Kentucky, and more importantly for Bowling Green.
The 47th time in the game that Eastern Kentucky has run the football. Pickup of 4 now pushes the rushing attack total to 388. 11:45 left. All timeouts remain for both teams, and now McCluskey running to the sidelines and pending on the spot could have a first down. Brandon Harris up there to make the stop. Harris 6th in the conference in tackles. Definitely an impact player on this Bowling Green defense.
McCluskey went down and slid so he could stay in bounds and keep the clock going, but the team doesn't care because they're running up tempo right now.
Sure. Didn't get much on that first down run, as we will get down to 11 minutes in this game by the time the ball is snapped again, or less. Eastern Kentucky protecting a 1-point lead. It's a muffed extra point on the snap. That's the difference in this football game. McCluskey driving right at Brandon Harris. Flag goes in toward the end of the play.
Holding offense, number 79. 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
It's on the right guard, Thomas Tabor. Haven't been too many mistakes by this offensive line. It's again pushing the rushing attack up close to 400. Cam Kowaleski, Tucker Schroeder, Jackson Bardall, the center, Tabor, and Justin Miles, the right tackle.
Bowling Green in a position here to try to get off the field in good shape. 2nd down and almost 20 yards to go here.
Eastern Kentucky with a man in motion will run to the near side. And McCluskey slides out of bounds. Up close to the 15. Clock continues to move. The 3rd and very long, 3rd and 16.
Again,
so you're the offensive coordinator, excuse me, John, for Eastern Kentucky. What do you dial up here on 3rd down?
I think you continue to run the ball. You want the clock to go. They might try to push this up here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do something with the quarterback, spread them out and run some quarterback draw. No linebacker right in the middle of the field right now, so you're relying on safeties to come up and make this play.
A 5-receiver set, empty backfield. Looking to set up the screen. McCluskey into the secondary, short of the first down by 3 yards, but gave the Bowling Green Falcons fans a nervous moment.
Yep. Big play here, though. This was a very good design play. You had everybody spread out, so you don't run the quarterback draw, but what do is you bring your speedster right across the middle where there's no linebackers in there. Easy completion. Now it's up to him to beat the safety, but they come up, do a nice job of getting off the field. Jerry McBride comes up and makes an all-important tackle that time.
Yeah, agreed. McBride also recovered a fumble and returned it for 40 yards in the first half. Philip Richards to punt. And the catch made just around the 35-yard line by Marcus Milton. It's a punt of 39. 9:11 to go. Bowling Green gets the ball. Chance to regain the lead.
The ESPN app now with ESPN Plus. Get more ESPN.
Arguably the MAC's best receiver, Scott Miller, warmed up today. And in fact, he was given the green light to be available to play, but took off the helmet shortly thereafter to work out. And because of the hamstring injury, has decided not to give it a go. So now he's a support system for this Bowling Green team trying to regain the lead here in the final quarter. A field goal will do it. And each team again with all 3 timeouts remaining. So John, to go back to something you said earlier, Bowling Green needing to make a defensive stop, which it did. Will they turn that stop into points?
Yeah, that's the question here. And just as important as that defensive stand was, I think this drive too may be the most important one of the year so far for Bowling Green.
Deggy across the middle. First down up to midfield. Sure-handed receiver and Justin Sawmiller. Good for 11.
Ball fake to Clare will hold linebackers. They take 1 or 2 steps forward and allows you to throw the ball behind them. Nice throw that time by Deggy.
Deggy with a 4-receiver set on first down. So missing Scott Miller today meant that Miller could not extend his consecutive streak, at least today, to 28 games with a catch. Miller close to 1,900 career yards. And they've had to depend on the running of Andrew Clare and Bryson Denley. And certainly the throwing of Jarrett Deggy, who has 3 touchdown passes and a touchdown run. Time to throw, now stepping up, gets rid of it the last minute. Boy, that was dangerous. You know, he was burned a couple of times earlier in the game. Why do you try that?
Good question. I just wonder why he feels like he has to force that ball at the last minute. Just go ahead and take, he had about positive yards, or at least got back to the line of scrimmage.
He was sacked a lot last week against Maryland. You wonder if there was some carryover from that.
Yeah. This is where you want Scott Miller in that lineup, because he gives you that choice route, that one that they're missing today, that inside slot guy that can get one-on-one with those linebackers and beat them.
Quentin Morris has been big on the outside to catch, and that one by Pudavong was it hauled in. That's a catch. At the 33-yard line has Derek Pudavong come up huge today on a catch of 18. There is a flag, however, way back at the 40. In fact, there are 2 flags.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 44. That penalty will be tacked on into the play. Automatic first down.
Well, the other question, though, is did he make the catch in bounds with a foot?
Yes, he did. It was clear that he had that foot down and maintained the football throughout the entire catch. Used all of his 6'5" frame here to reach up with that one hand and snag it. Watch that right foot come down. Right there, clearly. In bounds.
Looks like a Sports Center highlight,
yes.
Don't you think?
Look at that, all 6'5" going up, and clearly holds on to the football.
Tack on 15 yards, now 6 penalties for 77. Bowling Green in the red zone. Deggy's got a man wide open at the 15. R.B. Marlowe all by himself on the outside.
Again, the outside receiver driving the defender back, and then throwing the outside wide open. They're relying on that safety to come up and make that play. Not easy to do.
So it's a first down, goal to go at the 8. Falcons 3 receiver set to Clare, who gets popped at the 7. Touchdown by Bowling Green. Would make it a 5-point difference, and then Mike Jinks' team would go for 2 to have some separation should Eastern come back, score, and get an extra point. So the coordinators, Kilmore and Padrone, hard at work here, and some huge decision making on 2nd and goal. Seth Deggy's been responsible for 4 touchdowns today. To the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Unbelievable. Q Morris.
And look at the first guy over there to grab him and give him a hug. Pudavong on the other side. Both of those wide receivers amazingly stepping up today. And how about that catch by the big Q? I thought he overthrew this ball and didn't give him a chance to catch it. He was stumbling, and that right knee comes down. The only question is, does he hold on to the football? And there it is, clearly in his hands. And a huge play for Bowling Green and Quentin Morris.
Now the Falcons will go for 2 to try to stretch the lead to 7 with 6:47 left. This is the makeup for the botched extra point earlier in the game. A 4-receiver set altogether. Daggy looking to that side, throwing over the middle, caught. 2-point conversion. So that'll make up for the muff. And it makes it now a 7-point game as Jordan Wayne Prather makes a reception, just his second of the season. John, what a stretch here from Bowling Green.
2 receivers doing fantastic job on the outside, using their 6'5" frames to make huge catches for Bowling Green.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at who's been putting in work. Brought to you by Carhartt. How about the starting quarterback from Bowling Green, Jared Daggy? He's rushed for a touchdown. He has thrown for 4 others. And let's be frank, his receivers have been terrific.
Yeah, both guys on the outside, Quentin Morris and Derek Pudavong, using their bodies to go up and make plays and stretching out. They have been really impressive. Making up for not having Scott Miller in there.
Oh, yeah, which was a big loss. Still Eastern very much in the game. A little pooch kick. Fair catch being called at the 26-yard line. Good recognition by one of the up men of Eastern Kentucky. So a touchdown extra point would retie the game. And dare I mention the word overtime?
You already did.
I did.
And you just get that feeling, don't you? This type of game back and forth. You said earlier the first one is 60.
Not too far off yet. Eastern Kentucky on the shadows of 400 yards rushing. Still all 3 timeouts to use. They've used 2 quarterbacks today, Dakota Allen and Alfonso Howard. And Howard on first down. Across the 30. No reason for the Colonels to rush here because of the timeout situation. Now 4:04 rushing the football. Imagine 404 yards to follow 440 by Maryland last week. It's going to be a big issue for Bowling Green to have any chance in the game this year unless this offense is going to be scoring in the 40s.
And some might be wondering, why do you replace Dakota Allen in this situation? He's been okay out there at the quarterback position.
Well, they certainly feel they can run the ball.
Well, that's the thing. Only 9 attempts on the day, so even he's in there because he can run and pass. But if you're not going to throw the football, then you need to have Howard in there, Alfonso Howard, I think, because he gives you a better chance as a running quarterback.
After the first down carry by Jason Lewis of 11, football at the 42. Under 6 to go in the game, or at least in regulation. Alfonso Howard already has a run for touchdown, sophomore from Chicago. At the quarterback helm, looking to throw on first down. He's got a man wide open. Ooh, if he had thrown that ball up a little bit more, Dan Paul might have gone the distance.
Well, and Dan Paul, we haven't mentioned his name. He's a tight end with a couple touchdown receptions this year for this football team, and I think Howard that time just short-armed it a little bit. He was open, wide open, and sometimes as a quarterback, I've been there before, you don't want to overthrow the guy, so you end up underthrowing him.
Doesn't do you any good in the long run, does it? Zone read Howard. Trying to get a block on the outside, he gets cut down. Credit Jerry McBride with a tackle there. Good player on open field tackles as McBride. He already has a fumble return of 40+ yards.
Yeah, he's been all over the field defensively today for Bowling Green. And a big third down now here for Eastern Kentucky and for Bowling Green to maybe force a punt still here with 5 minutes to go.
Dakota Allen back at the helm from the 42. Need to get the ball 10 yards. All eyes on the quarterback. Bowling Green with pressure. Man coverage on the outside. Incomplete. Ball caught by Jalen Carter. And that brings up a 4th down. The clock stopped at 4:44.
Really good penetration that time by Bowling Green's defensive front. Watch, in the face of Allen, the quarterback. Good. That's Kyle Jr. getting in the face of the quarterback and forced a late throw out to the outside. Receiver out of bounds. Would not have been a catch even if he was in fair territory.
You know, in light of the porous defense that Bowling Green's had against Eastern Kentucky's running, they've made 2 key stops here in the second half.
Yep.
And with a muff punt help, they have forced 3 turnovers.
Mark Elder, he was talking to the officials. He wanted a pass interference call on that last play.
I think Carter was forced out of bounds, bodied up.
Could have been.
Marcus Milton with a catch. Bowling Green trailed by a point moments ago, 35-34. Need to launch a scoring drive. That's exactly what the Falcons did. Jared Dagey at the quarterback helm. First of all, finds Derek Pudavon with a sensational catch. A second look at that, even though he was being defended very well. Then for the touchdown throw. As you take a look up at the offensive coordinators. Yes, sir. Wow is right.
Even the coaches know when a guy comes up with a great catch there, they're excited for him too. Like, we needed that one.
And then they got to get back to business, put up the hands for 2, and they successfully completed the 2 for a 7-point lead. Now Bowling Green in charge of the clock, in control, as Fry runs the football.
Eastern Kentucky going to load the box up here, try to stop the run, thinking that Bowling Green's doing everything they can to chew up this clock. If I'm Bowling Green, I'm trying to throw the ball.
Sure.
I want to move these chains, and I'm doing it by throwing the ball and spreading these guys out.
By the way, Rico Fry, the running back, born on Christmas Day, December 25th, 1999. 4 minutes to go. Dagey throwing on 2nd down. You're right, John. That's a safe pass.
Yep.
In the hands of Marlowe.
And they're 4 for 4 on that same identical play. They started this second half with that pass, and it's been a go-to for them in clutch situations. That moves the chains one more time and keeps the clock going. You don't have to do it on the ground. Just be conservative with your passes and make sure your quarterback doesn't make a mistake and turn the football over.
Coming with the blitz against Dagey. Pudavon, a one-handed catch. Looks like Odell Beckham out there of the New York Giants.
He just looked down at his glove and he just looked down at his hand and said, just a normal thing for me.
Yeah, it's like he's got stickum all over the place there. Catch of 6. Eastern Kentucky will use the first of its 3 timeouts.
I think the center that time for Bowling Green actually snapped the ball thinking that the defender was offsides. I don't think their offensive line was ready. And certainly the receiver wasn't out to the outside. That timing was a little bit funky out there, so I think they were trying to get that free play again.
Doesn't seem to matter with Pudavon and Morris, does it?
No. Just get it somewhere within this 6'5" frame here. Let him reach out with that one hand and pull it in.
Coming into the game, Pudavon and Morris had combined for 13 catches.
Look at him look at his hand.
Yeah. And you know what? With the loss of Scott Miller, we may have discovered a couple of fine wide receivers today for Bowling Green. Not that they're a secret to the Falcon staff. 2nd and 4. Mark Elder will use another timeout. After the carry by Rico Fry will bring us to a 3rd and 3.
If you're an Eastern Kentucky fan, you start wondering, 10 pass attempts on the day now. Will they get this football? If they get it with just a short amount of time left on this clock, can they throw the football and complete it?
Mentioned Derek Pudavon, 7 catches for 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. Q Morris, 8 catches for 93, 2 touchdowns. No Scott Miller at their disposal. But to this point, no problem. So this is huge right now for Eastern Kentucky. Has to make a stop, or this could be ball game. Falcons need 3. Fry is the running back. 2 receivers, far side, 1 to the near. Daggy in the gun. They go with the rush. Fry. Penalty flag on the play. Appears to be right close to the stick, maybe short. And I think the spot's going to be important here as to what Eastern Kentucky will do if it's a penalty against Bowling Green. If not,
yeah,
it won't matter.
I think they're going to decline this penalty. Looks like that spot is going to be 4th and about 4 yards. 3.5. Going to take it.
Sure.
Elder's talking with the officials down there. He's asking, is the clock going to start?
Because he might use his last time out.
Holding, offense. 10-yard penalty for the previous spot. 3rd down.
This is interesting, John.
Yeah. Now they elect to back him up versus trying to stop him in a 4th and 3 situation. They'll make it 3rd and long and force Bowling Green to try to throw the football here and maybe create some type of turnover.
Gamble on the part of Eastern Kentucky, which would have gotten the football. Daggy needs to pick up 13, and he's sacked, and it's a gamble well worth it. And now Mark Elder will use his final timeout. So instead of taking the play and getting the football 4th down and short, Eastern Kentucky took the penalty, came with a blitz, gets the sack, and now gets better field position out of it.
Yeah, and that's Aaron Patrick. Their leader on this defense makes a huge play at the end of this game. And fortunately for Daggy, he doesn't fumble this football as he gets hit from behind. Doesn't even know that Patrick is bearing down on him, and he's fortunate to hold on to that ball. And now Bowling Green can punt it away. And for Eastern Kentucky, they should get some decent field position here.
When I go back to something you said earlier, Dakota Allen does not put the ball in the air often today. You should take a look at Daggy on the opposite side. So if you get good field position, you've got time to run it, but you're also out of timeouts.
Yep. They do have another quarterback there, and that's Austin Scott. He's the 3rd quarterback that we haven't seen today, and he's the guy that they like throwing the football. However,
be a risk, wouldn't it?
Last week versus Marshall, he threw 3 interceptions in that football game, so we're probably not going to see him today, but he's the guy that would be the reliever in a situation where they want to throw it. I think Allen gives you the better option here. You can see Allen talking to Scott on the sidelines.
In the meantime, BK Smith is back to return the punt at the 40. Big moment for Grant Tinnerman to get off a good one here. From his own 10, a line drive kick. So this drive will start inside the 35 with an even 3 to go. A punt of 48, no return on the line drive boot, and no Eastern Kentucky timeouts remaining. In this game, the big 3 have been McCleskey, Allen, and Howard running the ball. 7 different rushers. That's been the principal part of your attack, so you expect them to go away from it with time running down.
No, I think they're going to go with running the football again. Dakota Allen's in there. You still have to be careful of him. I think your most dangerous guy now is the quarterback running the football here if you're Bowling Green.
That's Dak Allen on first down with man coverage on the outside. And incomplete. Intended for Jalen Carter. Ran a long way, and he was defended by Clint Stevens.
Trying to pick on Stevens, one of the most experienced cornerbacks on this team, 23 career starts. That's 3 pass breakups he has this year. He's got 27 in his career, so not necessarily the guy you want to go after.
Well, he took a shot. Keep in mind that getting a first down now is significant, and you'll have 4 downs to do it. Actually down to 3. Little pick play. Oh boy, Bowling Green smelled that out. Montre Gregory was right place, right time.
Boy, he fought through the through the blocker that time to get to the receiver. And here we go on 3rd down.
And you almost have to go away from the rush now, which has been your principal form of offense. Passing today for Eastern Kentucky, not good. 5 of 13. But they will run the football on 3rd down. Scott into a lot of contact. Gets half the distance they need to get for the first down, and now they go for it on 4th. And this becomes the game for the Colonels.
Yep. Here's where you think about going to your tight end, your big tight end number 7, Dan Paul.
Eastern's been perfect on 4th down. Scott straight ahead, and he's got it. Now 3 for 3 converting on 4th down. It's a lot of faith in your running attack.
Yeah,
as Mark Elder says, let's go back to work.
Yep, and now they're going to go up tempo too, and they have to with 1:50 to go.
And again, no timeouts left. Back to Scott. Trying to get in that second line of defense. The problem with a running play is it eats up some clock. But then again, they've been so good at it.
Yeah.
So
they're just looking to break something big here, but you got to expect him to go deep down the field here.
Scott close to the first down marker, short by a yard. Now down to 1:20.
Now they're going to be forced to throw the football. They cannot just run it down the field. And Bowling Green very tired out there, and expectedly so, especially in this situation, trying to chase guys down.
Now McCluskey with that burst of speed into the secondary. First down close to the 40.
Boy, that's a lot of patience from these coaches calling run plays here.
Now they'll bunch the receivers to the left of quarterback Dak, and a whistle and a timeout call by Bowling Green.
I think that's just to give them a break.
Oh, yes.
You know, that's one of those timeouts that you need just to give your guys time to take a knee here, regroup, and
Timeout.
You've got
Bowling
2
Green.
remaining.
Yep.
They're first of the half.
After this first timeout called. The timeouts aren't going to be significant in terms of being on offense because you have a 7-point lead, so you need to use it, give the team a blow.
Yep. Well done here, because they give you a formation that you haven't necessarily seen either. That time they went 3 wide receivers to the near side of the field there, right in front of Bowling Green's bench, and make sure that you know how you want to defend that formation.
John, didn't you do the numbers earlier in the week on receivers, the youth of Eastern Kentucky?
Yeah.
And the fact is they barely have anybody that's got a touchdown catch.
Yeah, the only guy in this entire roster as a wide receiver is Jalen Carter, number 80. He's the only guy to have a touchdown catch in his career.
Last FBS win, as you saw for EKU 4 years ago. Still confidence in the running game. But they got to get up and go. They're down to 45 seconds, and they're still a long ways off in the end zone. They got to start throwing the ball. Allen on second down, looking, and being sacked. Back at the 45. Wow. DeMonte Hagler, the backup nose. Now 3rd down with 15 seconds to go. Daggy down the field, and the ball's caught.
Going to stop the clock with 12 seconds to go. To 11 seconds to go. They got to get up and spike it right here and regroup.
What a catch by Jalen Carter. Now the spike with 9 remaining. Clock actually moves to 8. And that's time for at least a play, maybe 2.
Well, Carter's the guy that we said that only has 1 touchdown catch in his career. Well, what a huge play he makes here to convert that. And now they've got maybe 2 shots at the end zone, but anything short of the end zone, this ball game's over. So
barring
we'll see
a defensive penalty, of course.
Looking at the size of those receivers, Kramer at the top, number 11, is 6'3", and down at the bottom is Jackson Bierman, 6'5".
Bowling Green still with 2 timeouts left. They'll use 1 here. It's a good idea. Take a look at the offensive set.
Bowling Green State University, their second. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So Angelo Mirando getting together with his quarterback, Dak Allen. And I would imagine one of the things he's saying is you got to throw the ball into the end zone, awfully close.
No question about it. Anything short of the end zone, there's no way they can get to the line of scrimmage. So
now if it's a first down, the clock will stop, but you've got to do that in, what, 6 seconds? And that's risky.
Yeah, by the time you get everybody up to the line of scrimmage, those offensive linemen, and get them there, you just can't afford to take that chance.
Ball game right here. Let's see if they come after Allen or they'll drop an extra defender.
I go to the wide side of the field to this guy out here. He's got one-on-one coverage.
Allen looking to the end zone, incomplete. And down to 5 seconds remaining. Well, it only took 3 seconds.
Yeah, the one other thing that could happen here is you get a pass interference call in the end zone. You get the ball at the 2-yard line, and then they could run it on the last play with even with no time left.
Same side of the field you're looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking for the matchup on the outside, one-on-one coverage if you get it. This time your receiver right here has moved in a bit. You've got that coverage. It's free to the outside.
Snap to Allen. Time running out to the end zone. Incomplete. Game over. And what a game it was. First home win for Bowling Green since November 25th when they had 3 different running backs run for 100. Now hold everything. As the players are being set back, the scoreboard clock said all zeros.
They're going to review this last play to see if this was a catch or not. Well, waiting for that win. Why not another minute here, right?
Easily. Take a look at it.
They went to the outside that time, but they went to their inside receiver
who ran the ground. So that's
I don't know why they're reviewing that. Clearly, it wasn't even a catch. So, but instead of going to the wide receiver, they held him up, ran the corner route behind it that time. And I don't have any clue what they're taking a look at right here.
I don't either.
That ball's on the ground, whether it's catchable or not. They certainly can't review pass interference.
No, sir. Brandon Harris back defending. Who else, right?
Yeah. What a day he's had.
Well, everybody's standing, awaiting the final decision.
After further review, the ruling on the field that the time expired stands. The game is over.
So actually, in fact, it wasn't an incompleted pass, but whether time remained. And so now we have an official win for Bowling Green.
Well, congratulations, Bowling Green, getting that victory that they so needed. And for Eastern Kentucky to go on the road, play up against a group of 5 team and come up a little bit short, they'll be ready to go for the FCS season.
Maybe we'll see Eastern Kentucky in November or maybe December. This game had a little bit of everything, John. For John Gregory, Jim Barber, huge win for Bowling Green. Big day for Daggy and McCluskey, who ran for a couple of touchdowns. The final 42-35 so long from Bowling Green, Ohio.